picking up all 4. Kinnetrop out the first team.
Hello. Trying to rotate down south, trying to get a little bit fresh and try and third party that Paradise Resort play. Yangon Galacticos are ready for it. So it's not just R8 who were looking at adaptations there. It was Yangon Galacticos as well. A really prescient decision. And that actually allows them to pick up all the supplies that Kinnetrop were able to loot through as well. So even though they had a little bit of a low time looting phase in the south side of Paradise Resort, they were able to pick up a lot because they've been able to leapfrog that one through. As we take a look at the replay, this is how Nongshim Red Bulls lost a lot of their players. Influence Rage as well, trying to break out of boot camp. Looks like they've moved into the hillside successfully.
And AXTMG is most likely going to want to get the final player. Ziz, who's maybe just on the opposite side of Ruins. Big win for AXTMG. Only losing 1 player in that fight is pretty successful. Team way towards the bottom, getting started early. It's only going to better their chances to making top 8. Team Vision, a roster that performed very well and had stellar moments throughout group play, had a disappointing run throughout day 1 of the survival stage. A team on your screen with all 4 units, still looking to work their way up if they can. I do wonder, intense game with Adrian starts to go out there along with another one of his teammates, getting closer to AXTMG, who starts to fire off some shots. Teams need to respect AXTMG and where they currently are in Ruins. They push too aggressively, they could be losing their lives just like Nongshim Red Bulls did.
The question is, even with good positions and good performances, for AXTMG, it may be too little too late, right? They're chasing a marathon down where other teams are going for a stroll around that bubble. They are on 12 points at the start of this match. Obviously picking up 5 is brilliant, right? But when you're looking at trying to get up towards 70 points today, they need to put up over the course of the day, getting up towards, was that 58 points?
That's right.
To be able to get to 70 points, and even then it's not certain. So getting 58 points is almost a 10-point average. That is a top team performance level, and it will be really difficult for them to try and earn that sort of points. We'll have to see if they're able to be up to the task, because we get a replay of how Kinnetrop walked into a building that did not walk out.
That's right. Solo was taken down very early on. Yangon Galactica said, well, let's take advantage of this. Let's push into Kinnetrop. We know basically where their whereabouts are going to be. And like I said, they pull off the full team wipe. Good on them. So from R8 versus Yangon Galacticus to now the fight for Paradise turns around. Yangon Galacticus are gone. Now it's Random Karya taking their place. R8 opposite of them. This is another intense fight to talk about what's at stake here. For Random Karya, still relatively healthy within that top 3 position. They can have maybe 1 or 2 bad games before they start to get put on high alert. But for R8, this is a must-win fight. The shots are starting to ring out. Random Karya is going to strike first.
Immediately getting that flush as well. Earning that point. Damar steps up with the DPS, but it's just a little bit out of range to fully connect. And Random Karya just keep this unlocked. 2 players almost immediately. They've survived the hot drop here, Reflections, but it feels like they weren't ready for the second phase of the game, which is called not staying in your drop location.
Now it's going to be up to 2 players from R8, and they pretty much have the fight. I mean, yeah, you can leave this, but I don't think they want to. R8 want to establish Paradise if they possibly can. Losing this could very well knock them out. I'm almost guaranteed, really, to knock them out of the top 8 contention, making them forced to fight on Arigel and Miramar. Random Karya rolled in. They've been on fire throughout day 1 of the survival stage. They clearly are already off to a great start with 2 players down. Prestige, Mark, they are gone, forced to disengage, and now fight the entire lobby as a duo.
Now let's take a look at the rest of the lobby as well. The circle is centered up towards the north side of Quarry here, which means that there are teams on either side of the Quarry that are going to be able to be a massive barrier to rotations around this circle. Alpha 7 are actually in a very solid spot on the northeast side of this Quarry to stop teams from moving around that east side. Unfortunately, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to farm too many points for it. Well, they'll maybe get 4 from Gamax unless the Falcons try and roll in behind them from Cave on that east side. It's that west side that's going to get a little bit more fraud, and that is going to be up to Fireflux. It's going to be up to the Arena to be holding down the west side of that core position.
But again, with Alpha 7 being in the position they currently are in the survival stage, a chance to potentially not make it into finals to defend their title, they've got a target on their back. And for Gamix, if they see him, maybe they want to go for the challenge. Hora, you got Fireflux, right? E-Arena, they see Alpha 7. Maybe they get a bit more aggressive and put a little bit of extra attention on where they currently are. But I agree with you, John. Where Alpha 7 is currently at, I'm feeling quite confident. We look at Falcons, Narvalo with Redox. And Narvalo, that beautiful 1v3 against the roster of Alpha 7 yesterday, put them into the grave in game number 5. But one of the teams that was hurting Falcons the most yesterday was R8. This time around, it doesn't look like they're most likely going to run into each other. Even if they do, Falcons is going to have the numbers, so they might be able to beat their boogeyman. But for Falcons' sake, looking good. You got all the members up. They've got a lot of real estate, not only in front of them, but also behind them, basically a limited line of sight. So for Falcons, I'm expecting a pretty decent game 1, which is historically what they normally start off with.
Well, they'll have to try and keep this one going. They're right on the edge of the south side. They're worried about crossings to their west. They needn't be, but they don't know that, of course. They're worried about teams moving down the west side, rotating in late, coming in from that south edge. There is currently no one playing that area, but they are just being careful. They're crossing their I's and dotting their T's at the moment as it goes. You know, you can flip that one around if you want to, but I prefer this way.
Fair enough. All right, dangerously close to Vision. Volt being the scout, maybe he calls out R8's weak. Maybe Vision chooses to challenge, but for now, that hasn't occurred. Intense game still out in the blue zone. Forced to go down south across Paradise. Maybe Regnum Karya, being the aggressive roster they are, spot them out and potentially go for a challenge, but I expect IG is going to be just fine. We'll have a zone shift relatively soon. And it is going to center up a little bit. Alpha 7 still feeling pretty good. Fireflex dead center. Vision okay. Yang on Galacticus. And Regnum Karya starting to get relatively close. So once IG, Power, right, AXTMG, and especially Falcons way down towards the south start to come up. Falcons especially are going to have their hands full with the arena in Alpha 7.
We've got a couple of teams on the linchpin positions here. Power, they're going to have to make a decision as to where to move. So that southwest side, the dynamics of it are really going to change depending on if they go north, if they go in towards the center, if they try and head east and fight E-Arena. We've also got that position on the southeast, and Gamax behind Alpha 7 could change things up. There's also that wild card of the Falcons. Everybody else has fairly linear approaches. It can get a little bit predictable, but those are the places where I think things could really change depending on how they want to approach this one.
Gamax, Alpha 7 starting to inch closer and closer to each other. Abrinko is off in the distance. I don't know why he's currently there. He needs to get up there and join his roster if they want any attempt at attacking Alpha 7. But for the meantime, they're just going to continue to be very aware of where they currently are at, but they don't want to challenge necessarily. I do notice Influence Rage, though, as well as AXTMG are starting to get very close. And here comes that Regnum Karya IG rotation. IG going straight past Regnum Karya. The question is, where do they stop? Well, Toshpik says enough is enough. I'm ready to fight.
Vision not quite having sightlines over towards Regnum Karya. Keeps them safe for the moment. Intense game, actually sending out further towards the north, trying to get an angle onto Regnum Karya's rotate in, but they're not going to quite find it there. They're keeping it on lock and key, but there's the first knock, and Rafa lands the spray down onto Wild. Are they going to commit to go for this res? It looks like they want to, but the nades are going to follow it up. That's going to do a lot of damage. Not quite finding the flush just yet.
Knowing Intense game, they want to push this. You notice Silence starting to push forward. He's going to take an advanced spot. Silence, though, caught off guard to the left, takes a bit of damage, and now you've got to back up and join your roster. Well, no, maybe push forward. Silence wants to continue. They know they have an early knock. They have the man advantage. Question is, can they continue to take apart Regnum Karya? And the answer is yes. Silence, a power player in his own right, also down. Regnum Karya down to 2.
And there is a res coming on through. Toshpik next to fall down to the floor there. And Regnum Karya all of a sudden relying on Loxy, but he has got the beans. Let's see if he can jump into the fight. Silence now, going low behind the car. Will have to hide, go for the heal. Nice, but he threads the needle, and the shot is good. A 1v2, Yangon Galacticos could potentially move into third party, but they backed off. He's still going. Loxy has more legs in this.
Yeah, Loxy definitely can pull this off if he's careful. Petrino, though, snaking the grass through the smoke. I think he's going to be the linchpin. Loxy takes damage, forced to retreat, and that's going to be a move save Cloud, if I'm not mistaken, just from behind, taking him out with the third party.
A big flex out into the blue zone there from Yangon Galacticos. He read that he couldn't get a sightline from where he was. He moved out into the blue. It's stage 4. You can survive for long enough, and he took down Regnum Karya. They end their match with only 2 points from that northern side.
But the good thing is for intense game coming from the Americas region. They got all 4 alive, and they're getting their health back, and now they can challenge GiNN Galacticus. This game could be a stellar one and a great start for intense game to make a miracle run for top 8. The Brazilian team's underperforming. That's what the test said, and I fully agree. Even from the Americas region, right? I'm super passionate about them. But for intense game, this is a great start. Silence once again trying to be that aggressor. This time, he gets fully punished.
Taken down and flushed very, very quickly there. Nades now pouring in. Intense game wants some retribution, but Yangon Galacticos won't go down quietly. They left from Paradise Resort. They sliced through Kiratrope. I know their walkout looked like they had the samurai swords, but they've been turned on their own there, drawn and thrust back to the gut from Yangon Galacticos, and they are playing well from this northern edge.
Intense game knew they needed to continue to push forward. They're so close to the edge of zone. You can see it here, right? So one thing that I really appreciated for Yangon Galacticus' perspective is they backed away and forced IG to push into him.
Oh, big nade coming through on the southeast side. Alpha 7, they're starting to fumble on the southeast edge. Finally an answer over towards Yangon over towards Gamax, sorry. But that's Alpha 7 out. 7 said it on the desk. They need to kick off with a win. They've just been denied that. Neptura said it on the desk. So do the other Brazilian teams. And that's the same story for intense game on the north.
Alpha 7, I'm ringing the alarm bell. Starting now game 1. They are already out. They get away with 1 point. They were already outside the top 8. Alpha 7 struggles continue, and the fact that Gamax, who's been on the struggle bus, takes them out. A full team wipe. Everybody stays alive. I'm really worried for our A7 boys.
Are Alpha 7 bad?
Hold on, slow down. I don't think they're bad whatsoever, but something is just not clicking, and I sincerely don't know what it is.
Power seems to have found it. They are going to mount up for an approach towards AXTMG's players who are starting to flag. I think it's just Devotee left. There's nade pouring in on his rock, and it looks like they know exactly where he is. A slow approach from Power onto this circle. I said that they could be the wild card here on the southwestern side, but they have played it sensibly. They've lost 1 player in this fight, but they have managed to rack up a point. They're looking to clear out slowly and methodically. E-Arena, I'm worried about what they could do to this one, though. You can see them start to poke their noses in from the east edge. You've also got Influence Rage. You've got 2 on the western side.
Influence Rage is going to be B. I think that's going to be the team to try to any third party that's truly from Team Power's perspective. But you do mention E-Arena, and Joker is relatively close, so he can push in. So worst case scenario for Power, they get pincered between E-Arena as well as Influence Rage. Not a good spot to be in. An Influence Rage and both E-Arena do get active, firing in on Power Esports.
Well, through the midst of all of that action that's just unfolded before us, the north side fights, the south side wiping of Alpha 7 to ostensibly the worst team in the tournament, there is going to also be that Falcons rotation. Right, we were looking at that Falcons position on that south side. They have gone for a little bit of a miracle dash. It's something that we've seen them do before, right into the middle of the circle. They're now holding 2 really important buildings. Shacks, fair enough, but important buildings in this next zone. They have cover, they can play to the south side to hold it, and everybody else who could crash onto their locations right now, they're being held out by one another. Once those fights conclude, Falcons are going to be a little bit more under pressure. As soon as Gamax are free to go, the south 2 for Falcons are in danger. Aura, once they disengage from R8's last players, they could be in danger as well from that direction on the northeast.
Yangon Galacticus sit at a current 6 eliminations, and more potentially to come as they focus their attention on Division. Volt gets a nasty shot from a distance in conjunction with Marcelo. Volt will continue to reposition, maybe challenge Romeo around, by the way, for Falcons, looking to get revenge onto Gamax for taking on Alpha 7. Romeo continuing to hit some nasty shots. Vision putting up a wonderful fight. This could go any which way for Yangon Galacticus. Well, only 1 more player remains. Hora is starting to also get in onto the Vision fight. No, very weak. Marcelo very weak himself, but manages to stay alive, believe it or not.
Yangon Galacticos chiming in. Romeo is still alive and still giving it large. 1 player down on the back lines for Vision now. Just 1 player remaining left standing for them. Noaf desperately trying to get the res, but he has to face the fight first. And Sky Jiggle both pouring damage down over this hillside. Sleepy's there with a backup in the ghillie suit, and it will go undetected by them over on the north side. Vision are wiped away. Aura will continue for that fight on the northern edge, but the Falcons continue to take shots across every which way.
Yeah, that's right. And even when Hora ends up winning this, they need to move forward, and you got Falcons who's ready to gun you down. Gamax as well, and I'm loving where Fireflux is currently at, pretty much having the only hard cover POIs outside of Narva Valo and Ralph, and Redox, who's going to be from Falcons, relatively split. GamX has been on a terror. 4 eliminations, I know that doesn't seem like much, but for a GamX roster who has yet to show themselves, not only do they take down Alpha 7, but they're also challenging the top dogs of Falcons, who are currently up top. But this fight, this push up the hill, it's almost impossible.
It is very, very difficult when you're dealing with players that are sat up in that watchtower. You need to plant those nades in, you need to be accurate and deadly with them. But Ralph seems to know where he's fighting against. So do they. They probably nade over, but don't find the knock. They need to back up here. It is just Ralph on this position. Now Valo is off in the distance. They're playing split right now. And Arthur puts another stone up. Oh, but the top doesn't fully connect. In the meantime, Valo's soloing Aura on that northeast side. And actually, Aura could change the tune of this one.
Yes,
they could roll straight into GamX instead of uphill towards Ralph.
They absolutely could, and if they take down GamX, surely they're going to take down the 2 from Team Falcons. Ralph repositions. Arena could also fire some shots on his back end. He needs to be very aware of his surroundings and who is currently at play. Ora, nade onto Arthur. Going to be a bit short. They've got to continue to push up. For Falcons, though, continually getting picked apart. Joker takes down another from the Falcons roster, leaving them as a duo. Ora starting to tighten the vice grip, getting closer and closer to GamX. GamX needs to be ready for the attack.
Arthur first to face with the shotgun, but from a distance it's Arena, forcing him closer on the rock. Doesn't have time to heal before No Fear puts the nade in, and that could be terminal for them. A last player to stand, a damage lick sent back towards him, but there is just no way that he's going to be able to pick this one up. Unfortunately, the first aid actually coming through. Aura, okay, they're slowing down. That cut across from Arena, doing a lot of work as the Falcons get taken down in the meantime.
I don't mind the slowdown. Only one more player to remember from GamX, and I do hope they do remember. We have seen solos wreak havoc on rosters who are even 4 stacks. We witnessed it yesterday with Catch. We can witness it once again here. Arena starting to take down Influence Rage. The solo from GamX getting active on the Hora. Jiggle's going to be down. Luckily, they recover. They take him out. The question is, will Hora have to fight it with 3? Yes, they will. A full elimination law. He'll go ahead and die to the Blues. So we're down to our top 3 at the moment, and a great start for Fireflux, who started the day in first place, looking to take game 1, but Sleepy has other plans.
He wants to go a little bit further on this one, just about darts out of the blue in time to prevent himself from getting knocked. Fireflux back up now. They will be getting to 3, so it is 3 players alive on all of our remaining squads. The circle shifting away from Fireflux, though, makes this really tough. Arena sit dominantly on the high ground as well. You can see what a lovely angle Mormon has. So does No Fear over towards Fireflux. And it is really trading off that aggro. Aura, they do lose one to a knock, and Arena should have this on lockdown as 2 players now sit right on the back to the blue for Aura.
Arena could jump all the way up into top 5. Massive game for them, but Arena has also been on fire. They've been playing very well, with them having 3 players and the high ground. Hora has no choice but to use the natural terrain, aka the rocks, and just kind of bunny hop between them. Mormon, who's been the linchpin for this roster, he's been so very impressive, not only in group stages, but also the survival side of things. Sakura taking some damage. Mormon starting to push up, but no drama here. Arena takes game number 1 in scintillating sensational fashion, and that should jump them up into top 5.
Big news here on this match. Alpha 7 again go down early, intense game. Not a great performance from them. Influence Rage still in 10th place as well. The Brazilian teams are faltering, they are fumbling, and it may be the twilight of the region here at the PMWC. They need to stand up tall because teams like Arena, teams like Fireflux, teams like the Falcons and Regnum Kaya will take them on any day of the week. You cannot let off the pace because this is what happens.
That's it. Big hits to some top dogs, but for others starting to shine true. Top 8's getting competitive without question. It's still easy to break in. I say easy with an asterisk. Of course, I'm only talking in terms of the amount of points needed to break into top 8 for some of the rosters down below the threshold. But they start to get serious. That's 1 game done and only 5 more games remain. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, game 2, we're heading into Arrogel. Coming your way.
Cybertron's future is near. Autobots, roll out! This planet reeks of weakness. Your courage reignites my spark. We'll crown a new lord of Cybertron. Roll for freedom. A victory for all sentient beings.
And caught up with none other than the coach from Power Esports, Hexy. Thank you so much for joining me. I got to ask you though, coming into the survival stage, having finished second place in many of the MENA tournaments, is there now an added pressure to surpass the Falcons here at PMWC?
We don't have any pressure. We just try to be as much good as we can. Our point is not getting first, second place. We just play our games and try to be as much consistent as we can.
Do you feel like the Falcons are coming into this event looking pretty strong?
Yes, they are a good team. We respect them, but we will try our best, like, to surpass every team. We don't have a specific team to watch. So we just play our games.
And talking a little bit more about yesterday's matches here at the survival stage, you walked away with 1 chicken dinner, which congratulations on that front. However, 2 of those matches, you were the first team that was eliminated. What do you really think went wrong there?
One of the games because of hot drop, which depends on 50-50.
का नॉलेज है ना, जिस भी गेम का नॉलेज है उसमें जाओ, पिक करके सेलेक्ट करके रख दो. फीफा वाला जो है ना, उसमें मैं गया, मैं टॉप 8 प्रेडिक्शन में नंबर 1 अपनी S8ul को रख रहा हूँ. समझो नंबर 2 मैंने फैल्कन्स को रख दिया, तीसरा वाइटैलिटी रख दिया. ऐसा करके मैं मेरी टॉप 8 की प्रेडिक्शन करूंगा और मैं सेव कर दूंगा. अगर ये टॉप 8 आ गए ये लोग, तो भाई मैं जीतूंगा पैसे दुनिया भर के. दूसरी चीज, अब जैसा समझ लो COD वॉरजोन है, वॉरजोन का पिक करने में जाऊंगा. वॉरजोन की सबसे बेस्ट टीम फैल्कन्स है, फैल्कन्स को पिक कर लिया, फिर फैनाटिक पिक किया, फिर ऐसा टॉप 8 में ऐसे पिक कर सकता हूँ. अभी ये मैच चालू हो गया अपना PUBG मोबाइल का, इसके लिए अभी ये लॉक्ड है. जैसे मैच खत्म होगा ना, तो रुक जाओ, शेड्यूल आ गया वैसे तो. जैसे मैच खत्म होगा ना, तो ये अनलॉक होगा, जब जाके तुम लोग कर दो. बट उसके पहले तुम लोग को है ना साइन अप करना सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है. मैं ऑलरेडी साइन अप मेरा अकाउंट बने हुआ है, तो तुम लोग साइन अप कर लेना. फ्री का पैसा है, खाली प्रेडिक्शन करना है और इजी मनी तुमको मिलेगा. जितने भी लोग देख रहे हैं, पिन कमेंट में जाके लिंक पे जाके साइन अप कर लो. आई गेस अपन टेकन में भी है, अभी क्वालिफाई होना है अपने को टेकन में. हाँ, टेकन में अपना क्वालिफाई होना बाकी है. अपना फीफा में तो अपन फाइनल्स के लिए क्वालिफाइड है S8ul. चेस में भी अपन खेल ही रहे हैं, लोअर ब्रैकेट्स बाकी है. तो चेस भी चल रहा है इसके लिए. मोबाइल एजेंट्स भी चल रहा है शायद, इसके लिए लॉक्ड है. नहीं, मोबाइल एजेंट्स में कर सकते. जिसको मोबाइल एजेंट्स की नॉलेज है वो लोग कर लो भाई जाके. फ्री रजिस्ट्रेशन है, यू जस्ट नीड टू साइन अप और आपको बस प्रेडिक्ट करना है. दैट्स इट. और एक क्यूटी को रेड करना है गाइस मेरे को. एक क्यूटी है हमारी, वो लाइव आए कि नहीं. उनको 3 दिन से बोल रहा हूँ लाइव आओ, बट वो लाइव आए कि नहीं. सुनो क्या बोले दादा को, अपन क्या बोले, क्या बोल के रेड करे. देखो हमारे जो दादा है, जो हमारे 3-2-1 वाले दादा है, इनको बोलना डाइट शेयर करो. क्या बोलोगे? डाइट. इनको जाके बोलो कि डाइट शेयर करे अपनी, ठीक है. पिन कमेंट में लिंक है बॉयज, पिन कमेंट में लिंक है. डाइट शेयर करो बोलना. इनके गाइस 1 मिलियन की तरफ इनको बढ़ाते, इनको खींचते मीटर, ताकि ये जरा रेगुलर स्ट्रीम करके 1 मिलियन करें. इनको बोलना डाइट शेयर करो, डाइट. जितने भी लोग देख रहे हैं जाओ गोल्डी भाई की स्ट्रीम पे रेड मारो, मेरे दादा है, मेरी
भाई हमें भी रेड मार दो यार।
इनको बोलना डायरेक्ट शेयर करें। जितने भी लोग देख रहे जाके पब्लिक जाओ बोलो ऑन रेड मारो और बोलना डायरेक्ट शेयर करो, डायरेक्ट दो बोलो।
हमें भी रेड मार दो यार।
आरपी होगी, हाँ होगी
डायरेक्ट दो बोलो। जितने भी लोग देख रहे देखो 33,000 पीपल देख रहे, 20,000 लोग तो जाओ कम से कम, 20-30,000 लोग जाओ, सब्सक्राइब मारो। ही इज वेरी क्लोज टू 1 मिलियन। थोड़ा 950 के तो कराओ कम से कम, 950 के तो कराओ गाइस, 950 के कराओ।
डाइट शेयर करो, डाइट शेयर करो। डाइट अभी क्या डाइट शेयर करो?
950 के कराओ, 950 के गाइस। 32,000 पीपल वाचिंग प्लीज। पब्लिक जाके कर सकते हो यारो, 950 के इजीली कर सकते हो। 32,000 पीपल आर वाचिंग।
हेलो
पब्लिक कर दो यारो, जाओ यारो, फुल पावर यारो।
रेड आई है किसी की? कौन है?
फुल पावर।
कौन है डाइट मांग रहा है?
950 के हो जाएगा, चैट कर दो फुल पावर।
एक ही हो सकता है, एक ही की हिम्मत है आजकल ये सब करने की।
फुल पावर चैट।
चीचा ने भेजी है ना, चीचा की आर्मी आई है ना, मुझे पता था। डाइट लिख रहे हैं तो चीचा की आर्मी आई है।
अवाकाडो खाओ बोलो, अवाकाडो खाओ। चैट जाके बोलो अवाकाडो, अवाकाडो।
वेलकम वेलकम चीचा।
अवाकाडो स्पैम करो।
आप सबको डाइट चाहिए?
देखो
सबसे पहले तो जब भी च्युइंगम खाओ तो शुगर फ्री खाओ, और जब भी भूख लगे तो च्युइंगम पास में रखो।
अच्छा।
सुबह खाओ अवाकाडो।
अच्छा।
अंडे नहीं खा सकते, अवाकाडो खाओ।
च्युइंगम।
दिन में खाओ राइस रोटी, जो खाना है एक।
सब्सक्राइब मारो,
थोड़ा सा राइस।
950 के
साथ में कोई प्रोटीन का सोर्स लो।
जाओ ना यार, 33,000 पीपल आर वाचिंग, जाओ ना प्लीज, रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं, जाओ ना गाइस। 10-15,000 लोग तो जाओ, ऐसा मत करो यार, रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं।
शाम में कॉफी पियो, खाना खाओ।
डाइट आ रही है, डाइट।
रात में खाओ अगर नॉनवेज तो बटर चिकन नान
ले,
और वेज
जाओ
तो
ना चैट, जाओ
दाल
ना।
मखानी, टिक्की, आलू।
बुखारा की नान कैसी लगी पूछो ना।
स्नैक्स आर्मी वेलकम टू स्ट्रीम। जितने भी लोग आए हैं
दादा को जाके बोलो 35,000 पीपल आर वाचिंग, उन्होंने ना इतनी बड़ी नान मंगाई थी बुखारा की, बोलो बुखारा की नान अकेले खा गए थे आप, ऐसा लिखो ना जाके।
मेरी तरफ से लव यू स्नैक्स आर्मी यार।
950 के कर दो यार प्लीज, मेरे लिए 950 के कर दो। तुम्हारा भाई बोल रहा है 950 के कर दो।
करे
950 के कर दो।
तुम लोग की बॉडी बने, तुम लोग के भी 6 पैक एब्स निकले, बट तुम लोग भी स्नैक्स की तरह सिंगल ही रहो।
950 के करो चैट, 950 के प्लीज भाई कर दो यार, मैं रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं। देखो प्लीज,
ग्लोबल राइटर अपॉइंटमेंट प्लीज रीड इट सेंडिंग।
रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं चैट तुम सबसे। 38,000 पीपल आर वाचिंग, मैच चालू होने भी टाइम है।
चीचा की आर्मी जितने भी, और बाप रे 2000 सब्सक्राइबर।
गाय 950 के रे प्लीज रे, 950 के डिजर्व भाई प्लीज।
अच्छा मान गए भाई स्नैक्स आर्मी, थैंक यू सो मच यार जितने भी लोग आए हैं।
मैं बोल रहा हूं बंदा फुल एकदम क्यूटी बन जाएगा, मैं तुमको बोल रहा हूं। ये ऑलरेडी क्यूटी इंसान है, इनको बस बैठ के ऐसा देख, ऐसे कैसा बैठा है ना, अपने दादा कैसे बैठे, इनको देख के बस ऐसे बैठे बैठे खुशी मिलती है भाई। ये सुपर क्यूट जेन्युइन गाय, जेन्युइनली प्यार करते मेरे बड़े भाई जैसे। तुम 950 के कर दो, हिल बी सुपर हैप्पी भाई। उनका दिन बन जाएगा, मेरा दिन बन जाएगा। कर दो यार चैट।
चाइना
चलो भाई चलो।
जो लोग ऑलरेडी सब्सक्राइब है अंडरस्टैंड, बट 39,000 पीपल आर वाचिंग, तो उनमें से 5,000 लोग तो नहीं होंगे, तो कर दो यार जाके।
खाना नाना के लिए खा गए
950 के गाइस प्लीज, मेरे लिए।
कैसी अभद्र बातें
तुम्हारे भाई स्नैक्स के लिए कर दो यार।
बोले बिग फैन प्लीज अपनी डाइट शेयर कर दो। कार्तिक भाई
चैट तुम्हारे भाई स्नैक्स के लिए यार।
चैट देखो तुम लोग को मैं दिखाता हूँ,
तुम्हारे भाई स्नैक्स के लिए
तुम
प्लीज।
लोग जो बोल रहे हो।
कल आओ मियां, हैदराबाद का इनर सर्कल से 2 लोग आ रहे हैं। लव यू मेरी जान, अनस भाई जरूर मिलेंगे ताकि तो 200।
ह्यूमनली पॉसिबल है क्या ये चीज?
4,000 और देखो, दादा ने बुखारा का नान अकेले खाया था। दिखा रहे नान, दिखा ये वाली
भाड़काऊ नान बुखारा। ये खा पाएगा आदमी एक? हम 3 से नहीं खाया गया था, तुम बोल लो मैं खा जाऊंगा अकेला, कैसे खा जाऊंगा यार?
अभी खिला देंगे चैट, इनके करा दो यार।
ये देखो आर्नोल्ड भाई से नहीं खाया गया,
सिर्फ 3,000 रह गए।
3,000 भाई भी आए थे पता है बुखारा।
अर्नोल्ड भाई आए थे बुखारा। देखो हमारे अर्नोल्ड है दादा हमारे। उनकी चैट में लिखो S8ul के अर्नोल्ड तो तुम हो। दादा की चैट में जाके लिखो कि S8ul के अर्नोल्ड तो तुम हो। मॉडल के 7 मिलियन करा दो, कल ही तो कराया।
और 947,000
सब्सक्राइबर्स हो गया पब्लिक। 3,000 और
शेयर स्नैक्स आर्मी क्या दे।
3,000 और 3,000 और कम ऑन यार, कम ऑन।
तुम लोग बताओ खा पाऊंगा? तुम ऐसा पॉसिबल है?
मैच चालू हो रहा है, जल्दी चैट, मैच चालू हो रहा है, जल्दी करो। मैच भी देखना है आपने को, मैच भी देखना है, जल्दी करो। मैच चालू हो रहा है, जल्दी मैच चालू हो रहा है, फटाफट फटाफट फटाफट।
स्नैक्स आर्मी हो मैं तुमको रिटर्न में तो क्या ही दे सकता हूँ, बस ये कह सकता हूँ कि तुम लोग सब खुश रहो, आबाद रहो, हंसते रहो, मुस्कुराते रहो, और चिचा को जाके लिप की सारे लिप लॉक दे दो एक साथ।
दे देंगे उनको, बोलो जल्दी जल्दी हमारे एसिडल के अर्नोल्ड हो, गोल्डी भाई जल्दी कर दो। 2500 मैच चालू हो गया, जल्दी करो, मेरे को मैच देखना है, जल्दी करो गाइस प्लीज प्लीज। 46,000 people are watching. I'm still spamming the link, फटफट जाओ कर दो।
2000
ऐसा बोलो ना यार, मैं कर दूंगा फ्लेक्स।
2100
फ्लेक्स देखो,
रेडी हो गया,
देखो देखो बाइसेप फ्लेक्स कर रहे हैं।
रेडी हो,
अच्छी कट
3
मेरे थाइस जितना है भाई।
2 1 ओ देख,
और तेरी तो
देखा कि नहीं देखा?
तेरी तो
3 2 1
चलो 1500 और
3
मैच चालू हो गया, जल्दी करो ना भाई, मेरे को मैच देखना है, मैच मिस नहीं करना है, प्लीज यार जल्दी जाओ ना यार।
चलो 1500
ऐसा बोलो यार, मैं कर दूंगा, कोई ऐसा नहीं है। देखो
एसिडल का अर्नोल्ड
3 2 कट देखना, कट
क्यूटी है बे, क्यूटी है बे, क्यूटी है
2 ये लो, ये
क्यूटी। दादा वो कट नहीं है दादा, वो लटक रहा है, छुपा रहे।
लव फ्रॉम सैंग में, लव यू सैन भाई।
चलो हजार और
अमन भाई मैं
2000 और मैच चालू हो गया यार, जल्दी करो यार। किधर है अपनी टीम में? एक गन फाइट तो नहीं है, चलो 1000 और कम ऑन बॉयज।
आने पता लग जाता है तेल और तेल की धार। और चलो आप बोलो ना, खा जाऊंगा मैं, चैलेंज लगाऊंगा आपके साथ, खा जाओगे तो।
1000 और
जो
चलो 700 और
3
2 1
2
500 और
देख लो कटा है ना।
चलो 500 और बस, जल्दी 950 के करो, फिर अपन भागते हैं।
अरे 950,000 सब्सक्राइबर्स।
लेट्स गो जल्दी।
चीचा यार, लव
भाई जोन देखो, अपनी गन फाइट है चैट, तुम लोग गन फाइट मिस करवाओ।
लाइफ में तुम्हारे जैसे भाई दिए, और क्या चाहिए अपने।
लव यू मेरी जान, दादा लव यू।
हैं
गाइस तुम्हारे भाई का उधर गन फाइट मिस हो रहा है, जल्दी करो।
1 मिलियन पे 4 गेमिंग डिवाइस का गिव अवे है,
देख लो। तुम अभी 950 करा दो चैट प्लीज।
और कोई तो 950K पे भी 1000 सब मेंबर्स गिफ्टिंग बोल के गया था, वो चला ही गया।
करो जल्दी करो,
आर्मी स्नैक
चैट
बट
जल्दी करो। अब 200 और
शुक्रिया आपका भी, गोल्डन आर्मी का।
चलो
कॉन्गो दादा, कॉन्गो।
यू नो हाउ मच आई लव यू,
कॉन्गो मेरी
प्राउड ऑफ यू, व्हाट यू
जान।
भाड़काऊ जोकर आए तो हम लोग अपना ग्रुप गेम शुरू करें।
जल्दी हो गया 950।
बट स्नैक्स हैज प्रूवन हिमसेल्फ
लवली,
दैट डेडिकेशन, हार्ड वर्क, ट्रू इंटेंट,
ना बंदा मर गया यार,
नियत से काम करना,
ना बंदा मर गया एक।
माँ बाप की इज्जत करना,
चलो भाई चलो,
लव यू दादा, लव यू, थैंक
वालों
यू
को
सो
प्यार
मच,
देना, लाइफ
थैंक
को
यू सो
बैलेंस
मच,
रखना,
थैंक यू सो मच।
दोस्ती, रिश्तेदारी और काम में बैलेंस रखना,
so much.
दोस्ती, रिश्तेदारी
Inland, these rotational paths will be known, and generally teams will be comfortable getting into this area of the map, right? It's not too different from if it was just a little bit further north and it didn't have as much water on the south edge. The difficulty will start to come on through in towards stage 2, stage 3, after these first rotational plays have been made and moving on through that way. With 2 players going down so far on a hard east plane path, not necessarily unexpected, but the thing I'm looking at right now is Otter and Influence Rage and Yasnaya Polyana.
Yeah, they're very, very close to each other. That fight most likely going down. Again, an important one to say the least. For Ora, well, they are towards the top end of the standings. They naturally want to continue to separate themselves, not only for the money, but also for a guaranteed spot in the finals on our next stage. But for Influence Rage's perspective, I mean, truly at the moment, the crown jewel for Brazil, the crown jewel for the Americas region to break into top 8 and represent Americas in the finals. If it's not for Influence Rage, it's not going to be an intense game. They're a little bit too far down. Alpha 7, so many question marks on them. So Influence Rage winning a fight against Orta here could be massive and bumping them up the standings.
The question is, do either team want to engage?
Not at all.
Right? It looks like they dropped close and looted away from one another, and in general I would imagine that is what is on their minds right now. Meanwhile, over on the rest of the map, it's Regnum Kaya crossing the Ganka fields. Falcons, they've sent a scout out ahead, but Regnum Kaya could potentially pinch that away and cut off that supply line behind them. It looks like Falcons are on a 2-2 right now. I think it could be a 3-1, I'm not entirely sure on our map feed, but either way, Regnum Kaya seem to be descending on that forward position for the Falcons, and that could be nasty depending on how how fast the Falcons can regroup.
Yep.
They are about 500 meters out for getting fully on the regroup, but Ralph goes down, and Regnum Kaya wastes no time.
That's right, Regnum Kaya is starting to get active. I believe it was a 2-2 split. It was Co and Redux who were on the advanced position, and well, now he's got Narvalo and Co starting to move through, and Wild is most likely going to be shot at relatively soon, you would have to think. From Falcons' perspective, losing one hurts, though. They were not wanting that, but that's kind of reminiscent of what they've been doing. Falcons love sending a scout player up ahead. Sometimes it burns them, sometimes it works out well.
How have AXTMG made their way along this coastline? They've rotated through now 3 teams, and it seems like people are just like, yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. You guys can just keep going. It's all chill. They dropped around Milta, sort of around that sort of area. They've gone through Nongshim, they've gone through Kennetrop, now they've gone past Vision, and it seems like nobody wants a piece other than on that hot drop that we saw earlier where they lost Devotee.
That's right. Falcons start to move their way maybe towards the shoreline themselves, maybe closer and closer to Kennetrop. There's a lot of activity in one area. I mean, you got Intense Game is relatively close, but all eyes on Vision. Now some Red Force moving in, Kennetrop, all within the same vicinity, and it is getting quite active. Redox moves up, and there's going to be a team off to his right that he's going to have to potentially deal with a little bit later on. For Alpha 7, I said it, they like to land Georgia Pole, they go towards Lipovka. Now they've got to make the long rotate down, and they're choosing to take the northern side, which is also quite congested with the arena. R8, Influence Rage, Aura, who are all moving in, and Aura, luckily for them, are the tip of the spear. They're going to be the first team to get inside of the zone, which gives them the flexibility not only for locations, but also potentially gatekeep if they so desire.
This is a really ridiculous number of teams actually going for this north side rotate, right? I mean, you know the plane path was deep on that eastern side, sure, but the fact that there's so few teams coming through from Mansion, past School, past Pachinki, is going to change things up. I wonder if anyone's going to draw short and try and camp one of those bridges on the way, farm a couple of points. If I'm R8, I'm thinking about it. Looks like maybe they're going to hop out and slow Alpha 7 down. Revolt just about gets away with it for now. Will they unleash more, or are they going to have to try and turn more into the fights? He slows down. This could be really dangerous here. He's low out in the open field here. This is really dangerous for Revo. He needs to be really careful. We're zoomed in over his shoulder. You can see he's keeping it cool. He's keeping it calm. But you can imagine that heart is pumping right now.
You know, a lot of times we joke about flipping the cars, bad drivers, so forth, but like, no, that could have been quite devastating. And now into the buggy we go, full health on the vehicle, and they'll continue to separate themselves from R8 and Co. Look, R8, they're not playing around today. They're going to take down Alpha 7 as soon as they can. And let's not forget, for Alpha 7, the pressure is truly on their shoulders, not only in the arena, but also for their region. For them going back-to-back, they cannot continue to fumble the bag and make mistakes.
That crown embellished key is teetering on the edge of the crusher right now. For Alpha 7, they are desperate to get points at this juncture. 8th place is a real distance for them right now. They sit on 27. 8th place with Yangon Galacticos right now is 43. We're expecting it to be pushing up towards 70 at the end of the day. And we'll see how they are able to try and clamber their way on through, but that hope is dwindling fast. A hard west shift here is super dramatic again. It does cut out those Pachinki fields, but I feel like a lot of teams are going to be more pleased about that than if it had been further east on this circle. That west side coast now is going to start to get a little bit more packed. The area around Quarry can be very treacherous as well.
Yeah, Alpha 7 start to move straight into the center, well, relatively close anyways, just opposite of Aura and IG as well. And speaking of Aura, just going to be right there neck and neck, and Alpha 7 don't pop. Well, they do. I thought they weren't going to pop out and fire some shots, but they want distance. They want Aura to keep on moving. And for Alpha 7, yeah, the shoreline would be great, but I think they're going to be happy with the real estate they currently have, and especially now, hardcover POI setting up. They will set up their fortress and try and gatekeep anybody else who starts to move in, aka E-Arena, who have now made their way into the zone out of blue. You still got some stragglers, Yangon Galacticus, Power, Gamex, who have been very slow on the rotate, now finally starting to come in. Regnum Kaya setting up in the Wizard Tower. You've got some great spots locked in. Question is, when the next future zones come, who's going to be benefiting? And Alpha 7, no Mafioso's down the arena challenging.
They've just immediately taken down Mafioso, who got way too bold on the angle. as a solo just had no chance of having backup from the rest of his roster. On the far side of the hill, I mean, I'm slamming a massive question mark on that one.
Yeah, that's tough. What is going on? Alpha 7, they had such a good spot. Hard cover POI, like they looked great. Why not just stay there? Why scout? It's not necessary, and now you lose a player. You got to go at it with just 3. That hurts me. It really does. Benny laying low. Scarface up ahead. Benny, a talented player in his own right. A guy that wants to truly cement his name in PUBG Mobile history. Had a chance to speak with him, and I love his tenacity. I love his desire to want to be one of the best out there. Noxian Red Force potentially gatekeeping Power and GAMX as they start to move in.
Fireflux, who are now on 73. Our first team to have crossed that expected threshold, right? They are now over the 70 points that we're expecting them to need to be able to get on towards those finals directly at the end of the day. So from here on out, it is just a question of solidification. If you could jump up over 80 points, you're looking pretty much guaranteed to be in, right? So if they can earn 7 points this match, beautiful stuff. Turkey will be very, very happy. Even if Regnum Kaya don't make it, they will still have their representatives in those finals.
Well, historically, Fireflux have averaged at least 4 eliminations when it comes to Erangel, so that'll put them even closer to that 80-point mark, which definitely would be safe. And with the other team struggling as much as they have been, even towards like Yangon Galacticus at 43, I still feel 73 is most likely going to be safe, but you'd rather be safe than sorry. Take a look at the map once again. Another zone shift towards the south. That's going to force Alpha 7 out of their hard cover. E-Arena hot on their heels, most likely trying to hunt down the remaining A7 members. Alright, also going in. Influence Rage, Regnum Karia. My goodness, the team's up there, John. Incredible.
I'm looking around that quarry area as well. Kinotrope control a lot to the ground on the southwest side. If they can keep that outpost alive, it could be great, but it's a question of doing that, of getting that one done. Alpha 7 now with more danger on their doorstep. E-Arena continue to try and push on through. And they want to find a shot if they can make it over towards Revo, who's taking some peeks. Carrillo repositioning on the buggy. And Squash as well, potentially in with a scrap. R8 moving in on the north side as Influence Rage are going to go parallel towards them. Law hops out. He spots the player on the back of the buggy. He's so slow. Oh, he can't connect the spray. Law drops the ball in a massive way. And it is ID7 getting real happy with it there for R8 to stay alive. A slow, lazy drift, and it's too much to handle for Law.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's uncharacteristic. Law hits his shots. That moment he doesn't, and now Lorenzen forced to full send it in. Go for the attack. Take down Damar, which might be possible. Damar's weak. Lorenzen, please do not drop the ball here, much like your teammate did just a second ago. The nade doesn't get the finish, but so does Damar. He, unfortunately, pulls his gun back just in the nick of time to allow Lorenzen to successfully get that elim without any drama, doesn't take any damage. Even though Influence Rage loses one, still relatively okay, but they've got GAMX, they've got Power, and they still have E-Arena who are surrounding them.
It is difficult on that northern side. It is getting really quite tense here, and Alpha 7, of course, have to move on this circle. They have to push further south. Teams have started to find their locations around the edge of Quarry. Kinotrope have maintained that split, that 3-1, as it stands. That on the lip of Quarry gives you a load of sightlines under your control. E-Arena taking shots across the way from Hoda on the western side, who are being a little bit slow on that rotate down south. But I feel like that doesn't really fully characterize it. They are maintaining strength and covering their back flank by doing so, by taking a slower rotation. So good news from them. Unfortunately for Noxian Red Force, it is not such good news on their side, as they will be losing a lot of players to Yangon Galacticos to continue to make things work on the southeast.
Yeah, that's the team you don't want taking you out. With the hovercraft, they're going to have a powerful end game, at least potential anyway. Yangon Galacticos being right there neck and neck with Noxian Red Force, that's the last team you want getting points, especially taking your roster down. That puts them closer to knocking Noxian Red Force to 8th place, being right there on the bubble, putting the pressure even more so on them. Power, Alahi's going to be on the outside. He unfortunately takes a lot of damage, eventually will fall. Lorenzen back on your screen, but unfortunately not for long.
Power looking to try and keep the pressure up on the northern side. Influence Rage starting to drag their feet a little bit. Alpha 7 as well, poking their noses in. The Revel has flexed out. Remember, they're playing as 3 on the northern edge. Yet to have an impact here. Carrillo gets spotted over on that north side as well. As Diego tries to push out of the blue zone. They've got Medan waiting in the way, in the wings, but the blue zone has too much pressure on them. Sure, they get the knock, but it's traded off, and Power still have a little bit more to do. Unfortunately, Lil Boy pushes them back off the angle and makes their life a little bit harder.
And R8 is also firing some shots at Alpha 7 as they're on the rotate. They've got to be careful. They've had such a hard time rotating in, even with the vehicles. They're only down to 2 members. Lil Boy pushing up, Power going for the revive. And Lil Boy, he's a talented member. He doesn't lose these fights. This 1v2 could very well go his way. Easy. Doesn't have time to pop your head kit. Ragnar takes him down, and like you said, huge. Power wins a successful engagement. They're already top 3, and now they got 2 members to work with. But from one struggle to another, Alpha 7 are pinned down.
This is the last player alive now. It's just Revel, and they're on the lip of that quarry position. Out to the west, and they go down again. A 1-point game. 2 games in a row. It is looking dire now with 4 matches left to play. They're going to need to earn at least 15 points every single match from this point onwards to be in with a chance of qualifying in 8th place. This is a team that people were talking about with a chance to win the whole thing.
And you have to look at how it started for them, right? Landing at their default location, okay, great, but then they do not get blessed by zone. They take the long rotate up north, which isn't uncharacteristic from what they were doing during the Americas. But you had that solo who just randomly goes off on his own. He gets picked apart. Now Alpha 7 is down to 3. Then you have another player who starts to rotate out, scan the horizons, he gets taken down, and then all of a sudden now you're getting pinned up by 4 stacks and you just get taken out. I mean, Alpha 7 continually, something is going wrong. I'm super worried for them. I'm ringing the alarm bells. I think they are sincerely in trouble. But there's plenty of rosters still remaining who are not only on the bubble but also trying to maintain their position in top 8. Love where AXTMG are currently at. Infinite line of sights, a power spot to be in, and luckily for them there's no one around them, but everybody is in front of them so they can continue to pepper anybody that they see.
Falcons, they managed to send through to the southwest side at the cost of one of their players. And now they're under pressure as Nalvalo gets found out in the open, unaware of the team right next door to them. Will just lose another. So 2 players survive for the Falcons, playing on with Redox and Koa. They lost Ralph early on. Now Nalvalo next to follow them. And for Hoda on that southwestern side, they're going to have to try and play on out. They have 5 points already. They are the next team right on the doorstep of getting up to that 70-point boundary. They just need 1 placement or 1 more elim, as well as Power up on 8 elims, 2 points behind that boundary on 70 points.
Power only a solo though. It's going to be easy, opposite of Kinotrope, who's just up to theirs, or up to his north, I should say. In a moment, Falcons, Hora, most likely going to run into each other again. As Koa and Redox keeping them in their line of sight. IG most likely going to have an effect at least later on for Falcons, depending on how Hora ends up deciding to push up. Smokes are out. Hora might be making a rotate already, but the important thing, where do we shift the zone? Well, that's great for E-Arena as well as Kinotrope, who are dead center. Kinotrope desperately needing points to elevate themselves up toward top 8. Final needs to join in and do it unscathed. If he can do so, Kinotrope might very well have a deep run in top 3.
They've got a lot of cover over towards Kinotrope's outpost. I was looking at that position, and if he didn't move immediately, I was going to call him out. He needed to regroup here. Binny, okay, on the inside for a 2-piece with a pump action around the shack, but there's more to do. He's got a protective barrier around him though, because he takes down. Wait, was that Binny as well on the mark?
That was Binny as well.
Oh my goodness me!
Yes.
This guy wants to be the best.
Without, I told you, man. I talked to him. He says, "I want to be the best. I want to submit my name."
Like no one ever was.
Mobile history. Ragnar starting to move up on Hora. A big fight. Toxic down. No fear. Firing shot, but can't connect enough. Another from Ragnar will fall, and it might be a clean sweep from Hora's perspective if they can get Sleepy and No Fear back up, but no worries. Sky continues to fight tooth and nail. Rectum Caria still having life. If Sky can't pull off the hat trick, Hora, they're out.
Intense game as well on the northern side. Could potentially move in and third party this. A flush over towards Sleepy, leaves Sky as a solo. He's disengaging, sending south. There's a solar outpost in Yangon Galacticos for Romeo. You can see he's up in the hovercraft on the top of the hill here. Staying safe, staying calm for now. just seeing what's going on. It looks like a tense game, fall back away, and maybe the fight peters out, but I think Sky might just be done for here. Romeo, though, starts to light it up on the hillside.
Regnum Karya, astounding that they're even alive. 3 members up and in the fight, but you mentioned Romeo, who now has perfect line of sights on everyone from Regnum Karya just in front of them. And you also got IG starting to come behind him. Loxy through the smoke, however, dodges him miraculously, and he has an attempt. He's going for it, but Petrino shuts him down.
Will not be able to sidestep and find the follow through there for Regnum Karya. They'll play on as one, and I was waiting for Intense Game to get involved. I thought maybe they were going to send out towards the east, but no, the hillsides are just right to be swept on through. And now, with just one player left from Hora, they might turn their attention towards Yangon Galacticos' position further south, but it is all a question of who can get close to Kinotrope.
And also for Sky, what he can do as a solo. Behind that of IG, he hasn't been spotted. But luckily for IG, they've got, oh no, they're parking the bus, which means Sky, he could have a devastating effect. Here's Benny with the 3, takes down 2, and well, Mark comes out of nowhere, and Benny says, hey, where you going, buddy? And mows him straight down.
I was 100% sure that was an off angle chiming in on that fight. I thought there's no way, right?
Like, I think shots were coming in, and he finished them off.
He's got to chill out a little bit, but no. He was like 1, 2, 3. He only needed those 3 shells, and he racked up 3 points. That was really impressive from Binny to be able to connect those shots, especially on the moving buggy, under pressure from the high ground as well, out in the shack. And it's rightly so that they're up in now 5th place with those 4 points under their belt, and maybe more to come. However, for Vision, they've got a choice to make, and it may be that they send for the shack that Binny sits inside of.
So the shift is, honestly, if I'm Sky at the moment, I'm just full sending an IG. Like I'm trying to do as much damage as possible. The only reason why is because Hora is a bit different, being in 2nd place, already at 70 points. Sky can afford to do this, and I believe they rotate by him, but Sky does manage to fight it out, and he's firing shots. He's connecting a bit. Petrino fell. However, IG managed to recover, and they'll still be a 3-man unit to push deeper into the zone. For Romeo on the hovercraft, he's still scouting the surroundings, seeing what's out there, but hovercraft maintaining it so valuable for the end. But with the zone ship Kinotrope once again still in a powerful spot, my eyes once again fall to them. A big game here would elevate them up the standings. They're at 22 points. Breaking in the top 8 is very doable, and they can honestly get very close with a win in game 2.
Really good information gathering there from Vision. They saw Intense Game leaving from that location, which opens up the position now that Marcelo and Nawaf have moved into. Before Intense Game and all the teams on the western side move, you cannot play the western side of the quarry like this, but as soon as they see that maneuver happen, they are in there. And that is a really smart rotation coming through from Vision. I like to see it. We'll see if they can go further.
Romeo taking a little bit of damage. Rafa also shooting the hovercraft to get it relatively low in health. I thought it was on fire, but I can't fully tell from that angle. Adrian with the off angle. Renat, though, sees it. Ready to take him out. If he sows the siren, unless he didn't see it, it goes right straight into Adrian, who takes over a little bit of the high ground that he possibly can, and the push is in. Adrian nade out. Rafa has also joined, and we have a tense game. Absolutely, they're fully committing to the Yangon Galacticos fight, and that nade looks good.
Just about dodging the damage around the cliff. On the edge there, the rocks protect him for the time being. Adrian is low now, though. More nades getting sent back and forth. That is just a tickle, but across the way, Fireflux can really start to get involved now. They just need to step a little bit closer, and they have full sight lines on towards Yangon Galacticos. You can see Solus wants to get a little bit more done, but across the way, you've got Kinotrope to worry about. This open ground around Kinotrope is just so deadly, and no team has really been able to do too much about it. It may have just been handed to Kinotrope on these circle shifts.
The hovercraft has been blown up, and Romeo can still use this coverage, and he's putting in great work, peppering the members of IG just up ahead. No one's going to be able to penetrate it. No one's going to be able to shoot Romeo in his current spot. So IG, that's one less member they're unfortunately not going to be able to fire upon. Rafa and Adrian starting to run on fumes. They can't go anywhere. They need to get up. They need to get out of blue, but there's only open space. Yeah, the buggy is one thing, but you know you're going to get gunned down. I think this is the end for IG.
Rafa going down there, and they are going to commit for the flush, confirming that point for Yangon Galacticos, but into the zone. Adrian sending, may be able to find a little nook and cranny to hide behind. Actually has Easy now as a buffer between him and Yangon Galacticos, and could survive for just a bit longer.
Fireflux also in front of GiNN Galacticus. I feel like they have had to fight tooth and nail at every point on their rotation. But honestly, not a bad thing. They haven't been wiped yet. They're also on the bubble. This is great for them. If they can pull off team wipe after team wipe, those are valuable points to continue their way up at the top 8. But I am a little bit worried where Adrian is currently at. Now he's got a great line of sight on the GiNN Galacticus, who's going to be just ahead of him. Meanwhile, Benny also up ahead. I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do as a solo. But for Vision, desperately trying to get it off angle, maybe a knock onto Kinotrope. They want that high ground. They want that location because they understand how important it's going to be.
Kinotrope again just been decimating these teams around them. Unfortunately, they haven't earned too many points for it. So this is the question that you have to ask towards Kinotrope. What sort of value can they extract from this location? Because they have been nigh on unassailable in this spot for so long. But with 25 minutes on the clock, those remaining player counts are going to start to drop.
Yeah, I think they're about to pick up at least 4 or 5, depending on what Marcelo does from Team Vision. They've been slowly making their way up. That drop on Tamra is going to hurt, however. And you mentioned the value. I thought they were going to pick up plenty of elims, but now they're getting picked apart. And you also have E-Arena, who might choose to dip their toe in this fight as well for the third party. But you also got GiNN Galacticus desperately trying to move forward, and Team Vision focused fully on them. Where's the buggy going, though? That was a bit of a risky play. GiNN Galactica have been mowing players out of buggies, out of vehicles, but luckily reposition ends up paying off.
They are going to keep things together. I feel like Team Vision have been playing this one really well. They held that push from behind against AXTMG. They open up with a pick towards Kinotrope, which does take them out of the power play quite a little bit. Finally, Binny does go down. He did do a lot of damage, though, during that match. Ladders up to 7th place, and a credit to him. Credit to his team as well. This is the last player from Intense Game who's managed to sneak their way in. It's on to Team Vision, really, to make a move here, and onto GiNN Galacticus as well. But they're staring each other down across this valley.
GiNN Galacticus are pinned up. I don't foresee them getting out of this spot. Whether it's the last remaining member of IG with Adrian, maybe Fireflux off to the left. You got Vision firing shots on some. Kinotrope also throwing their hat in the ring. It would be a miracle if Smile Mernat can move up, but that's going to be a great knock, but it's only going to do at least so much. And it's great for Plur, but Plur falls. And Vision, where do they go? Do they want to continue to pin GiNN Galacticus or move up? Well, they're moving up. They want to capitalize off the knock at the full finish.
They can do both as well if they can do that fast enough, which they do. They're able to find that. Adrian down the hill. They know that GiNN Galacticus are very unlikely to poke their heads in now. With just one player remaining, it's too much of a risk. The nade downhill, he hops in the buggy. There's actually the back lines there coming on through. No, hang on a minute. It was the spray down onto the player hopping in there, and they will find the last player. Fireflux flexing out. It feels like there should be another Fireflux win as they start to extend their control from the eastern side. E-Arena trying to push up from Quarry, but you could see what Scarface could do to them. There is very few worlds in which they successfully make their way up to the top of this.
Oh, but that nade hurt a little bit. I don't know, maybe a couple more of those. You take Scarface out, that opens up the door to continue your progression up the hill. But I don't think so. Madcap also looking down. Fireflux, it's such a great spot, but I mean, let's not kid ourselves. This area is so highly contested, and Nawaf, he's pushing up along with Alone, and this is going to be a great angle onto the Fireflux team as they start to take damage. We still got Joker also from E-Arena pushing up. This is going to be a mad dash for control on the top of the hill, and you got 3 rosters all butting heads.
Kinotrope are starting to fade here now. Last player for them to stand. Vision's playing on us 2, E-Arena is 3, who have been trying to fight their way in here. Scarface gets rezzed for Fireflux. That is going to be really important. However, in order to get that res, they've had to move Solus all the way to the back of their hold. They've lost a bit of pressure, and teams from the western side can start to move. And that's what's given E-Arena this momentum, this ability to get as close as they have. Mormon now with an opportunity, maybe to mantle here, but he pops that Molotov up on high, and they aren't quite going to find it just yet. In the meantime, GiNN Galacticus lose their last.
Oh, they see him. I think they're wanting to go for the challenge onto Mormon. They don't want to overexpose themselves. You got to find a fine balance here. Too aggressive to recklessness. But if you do it just right, you can dismantle a roster. Vision onto Kinotrope. You mentioned the solo, and Kinotrope ends up falling. And now things start to get serious.
It is all up to if Fireflux can hold the hill on the top here, with Soulless going down again to that nade. Arena are starting to put more pressure on, and it's going to be Matt Cap to fall next to Fireflux. Never Alone tries to go for the low road and catches him out on it. Looks for the shot, but Nawaf with a 1-2 punch up on high as Soulless gets flushed. It's a pincer maneuver onto Fireflux, and there, down to 2. Catch now down, and Arena may have just been able to mount the impossible assault towards the top of the ridgeline on Quarry.
But we've seen Solos provide a dominating effort for Scarface. One player down low, he's been spotted, however, so the cat's going to be out of the bag, at least from Vision's perspective. Now the question is, does Mormon Joker, Sakura from E-Arena know where Scarface is currently at? It should very well be a dominating win from E-Arena where they currently are, but Scarface can dismantle this push, can dismantle the hopes and dreams of E-Arena from taking a victory. The shots are fired and Mormon is down.
Scarface catches the backline for E-Arena, and he's looking for more. He's looking healthy. He got a helmet refresh there, a fresh level 2 over onto Scarface. He knows Never Alone's down the hill, and he jumps straight into Vision. Now in a 2 versus 2 though, Vision could do a little bit more. They've got a little bit more firepower here. He turns his attention away just at the wrong time, but an aid from the sidelines keeps him alive.
That's it. Team Vision desperately trying to fight, and they do get a knock. This could be a takeover attempt from Team Vision. Sakura firing shots, but it's not enough. Is Vision pulling it off? Can they do it, or will Sakura lock it in? But a back-to-back for Arena to start the day, and it will be Arena back-to-back victories on the day. They look as if they are poised to go to grand finals, and they won it.
Last time around, they went out a little bit quietly towards the end for the chicken dinner. This time, it was bombastic from E-Arena. They held their nerve. They moved up those tiered positions on Quarry. It is so uncommon to see a team win from inside the Quarry. Fireflux dropped the ball in a big way from that eastern side. It felt like Kinatropa as well could have done a lot more in that situation, but a massive credit to E-Arena. This is a display of skill that you do not often see.
I've become a bigger and bigger fan watching them play throughout the group stage and into the survival stage. The way they hold on to a power position is impressive and truly phenomenal. E-Arena, a team that I very well think going into the finals, once they make it, can make a huge impact, potentially take this entire thing.
Don't point the camera at these guys. Oh, come on. A little shrug from Alpha 7 to close us down for the second match of the day. Our first Erangel is out of the way. It was E-Arena to take a big chicken dinner. Fairly low elim count, but still important where it matters. We'll head to a break. We'll be right back with match number 3 of today.
Snacks Ba, what are you doing?
स्नैक भाई मैं चला मंदिर, रोहित भाई थैंक यू तो 40. क्या है यार? The thing is AX did great job. Look at the lobby, since they know it's the last day. Every team is in action every team is in action in motion. AX should see it and be a lion in the jungle as they are, but fantastic job till now. दीपक भाई देंगे तो 400. मैं तुमको क्या बोला, अभी होप 0 है क्वालिफाई होने का, तो एटलीस्ट भाई क्या पता शेर बन के खुले सांड की तरह खेलेंगे और मार मार के क्या पता कर जाए भाई 4 मैच में. यू नेवर नो ना, बट वो इंटेंट तो दिखा दे एग्रेशन वाला, समझ रहे हो क्या? एक बार अगर वो
दिख रहा स्नैक्स भाई,
अगर एक बार इंटेंट दिखा देना एग्रेसिव वाला कि भाई खुले सांड की तरह खेल रहे, जो दिख रहा है मार रहे, क्या पता वो फ्लो में क्वालिफाई कर जाए भाई. चैट है कि नहीं? हम सेकंड होते अगर अपने लॉन्डे VSN से फाइट लेते तो 40 बॉन्ग भाई. अरे यार बट मुश्किल है यार, जो इतना अच्छा जगह मिलने का नहीं, थोड़ा मुश्किल हो गया. जस्ट आस्किंग, तूने क्या उखाड़ा है ये बता, ई स्पोर्ट्स में इतना ज्ञान मिलता है. दिव्यांश भाई देखो, मैं कुछ नहीं उखाड़ा भाई, ई स्पोर्ट्स में कुछ नहीं करा, बट स्टिल भी आप मेरी चैट में आके मेरे को ही कमेंट कर रहे हो यार. तो आपके हिसाब से तो ई स्पोर्ट्स में इतने सारे प्लेयर्स हैं जिन्होंने बहुत कुछ उखाड़ा है, उनकी स्ट्रीम पे जाओ ना यार, आपको कुछ सीखने मिलेगा. मेरी स्ट्रीम पे क्या कर रहे हो आप? टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो. आपको ये चीज भी मैं ही रियलाइज करवाऊं? क्या है यार भाई, दैट्स वेरी सैड ब्रो, दैट्स टू सैड। अगर आपको लगता है मैंने कुछ नहीं किया स्पोर्ट्स में भाई, फिर भी आप मेरी स्ट्रीम पे आके कमेंट कर रहे हो, इससे अच्छा ब्रो आप स्पोर्ट्स में आपके हिसाब से, जहां तक आपका कमेंट है मैं समझ सकता हूँ, आपके हिसाब से जो प्लेयर्स, आपके हिसाब से जो उखाड़े, उनके पास जाके कमेंट करो ना यार, उनको प्यार दो। मेरे को हेट देके क्या मिलेगा, है कि नहीं? और जिनको भी ऐसा लगता है चैट में कि मेरे को क्यों देख रहे हो, इससे अच्छा भाई जिनसे आप सीखते हो, जिनको आप बेस्ट प्लेयर मानते हो, जिनको आपको लगता है कि उनके पास अचीवमेंट्स है अच्छा के लिए, उनको देखो ना यार। मैं आपका हाथ पकड़ के बैठा हूं? नहीं। मैंने आपको बुलाया? नहीं। खुद ही आके मेरी स्ट्रीम पे ज्वाइन करके कमेंट कर रहे हो। आप मेरे व्यूअर्स बढ़ा रहे हो यार, आप ही मेरे व्यूअर्स बढ़ा रहे हो, मैं क्या करूं? भाई अगर मैच डिनर नेक्स्ट मैच निकला उसके बाद भी अच्छे किल्स होंगे तो क्वालिफाई होंगे। शैन भाई पहले डिनर आना चाहिए ना, दैट्स द मेन पॉइंट। थैंक यू फॉर द 100। अगर डिनर नहीं आएगा तो क्या फायदा? दिव्यांश भाई डीपी किंग है वो, न्यू बॉर्न विवर इन एनी जय भाई, थैंक यू फॉर 179। वो मेरे व्यूअरशिप बढ़ा रहा है, बढ़ा दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। आओ मेरी जान, लव यू, वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम। ऐसे व्यूअरशिप बढ़ाओ, ऐसे रिकॉर्ड बनाएंगे तुम्हारे भाई ने। 170 के रिकॉर्ड था, इस वॉच पार्टी का मजा आ गया। ऐसे तो रिकॉर्ड्स बनते। Icha, love your analysis. Do more, but of PUBG, not BGMI, if possible. मौका मिले ना ब्रो, ये इतने टाइम बाद तो मौका मिला कोई इवेंट का, ग्लोबल इवेंट का, तो इसके लिए अपने को ये मौका मिला वॉच पार्टी का। अब आगे नेक्स्ट ग्लोबल इवेंट का मौका कब मिलेगा किसको पता, जब भी मिलेगा जरूर करेंगे। स्नैक्स इचा ऑल्टर ईगो की आत्मा आ जाए एक्स में, हाँ ना, AX AE से AX हो जाएगा, मजा आ जाएगा। भाई बट यार गाइस देखा जाए ना, पहले मैच में होप आ गई थी रे चैट, सैनो के 5 किल देके बहुत बहुत बुरी होप आ गई थी कि कर लेंगे, पूरा होप आ गया था भाई, नेक्स्ट लेवल होप आ गया था भाई। एटर्स बहुत होंगे लेकिन आपकी होप मत लूज करो। वी नो हाउ यू प्ले, लव यू। अरे मेरे को क्या भाई, मैं कुछ होप लूज नहीं करता। थैंक यू फॉर द 200 ब्रो शैन भाई। मैं जिंदगी में जो चीजें कर रहा हूं मैं उसमें बहुत खुश हूं भाई। थैंक यू द 5 यूरो स्काउट भाई, इंडियन फैन जहां से पबजी में टॉक्सिसिटी खत्म, टिकट्स बुक करवाओ इनकी। बाय द वे इंडिया वर्सेस पाक सेमीफाइनल्स तो नहीं खेलेगी अब, मतलब इंडियन फैंस जाने से पबजी में टॉक्सिसिटी खत्म, टिकट्स बुक करवाओ इनकी। अरे अरे हेटर्स आ गए, इग्नोर करो चैट इसको। ब्रो ये पैन मुक्का सब बंद करना है हमारे सर्वर में। और बॉयज प्रूव्ड वेल इन जोन प्लेसमेंट्स बट वीक इन गन पावर। BGMI प्लेयर्स शुड वर्क कलेक्टिवली। वेंकट भाई थैंक यू द 5 यूरोस। ट्रू ट्रू ट्रू, इधर इतनी राइवलरी चल रही है, इतना सब कुछ चल रहा है, प्लेयर्स उसमें बिजी रहते हैं भाई। बट ये सब देख के बहुत कुछ सीखने मिलता है भाई, बहुत मतलब बहुत कुछ सीखने मिलता है। देखो मैप की फीड देख रहा है, जोन की एंट्री कैसे लेगा, क्या है ये वो। चीचा आप कभी उड़ीसा आए हो, यहाँ प्लान है आओगे, बहुत फैंस आपके इधर, जरूर आएंगे। रितेश भाई 100, लव यू मेरी जान। शर्म आनी चाहिए पाकिस्तान की टीम हैशटैग टॉप 2 थी, तेरे को शर्म आनी चाहिए ऐसा कमेंट करते हुए, बाकी और कुछ नहीं। तेरे को एक्सप्लेन करने बैठना नहीं है मेरे को, क्योंकि मेरी एनर्जी वेस्ट है। और तेरे को समझा भी दूंगा तो भी तेरे को समझ में नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि तेरा दिमाग घुटनों में है भाई। प्रॉब्लम वो है, जब तेरा दिमाग जहाँ है वहां होना चाहिए, वहां आ जाएगा किसी दिन, तब समझाएंगे देखो। इच्छा कल आ रहा है आपसे मिलने, आओ। ड्रैकुला गेमिंग थैंक यू 40 भाई। यार बीटी हो रहा है, पूरा मूड ऑफ हो गया भाई, मूड ऑफ हो गया भाई, मूड ऑफ हो गया यार चैट। लव यू स्नैक्स भाई। भाई न्यू जिम ज्वाइन करा हूँ, नर्वस फील हो रहा है, थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस और टिप्स दे दो। रियू के FPS भाई थैंक यू तो 100 मेरी जान। मैं इसके पहले भी बहुत बार बोला हूँ ब्रो, अगर आप कोई जिम में जा रहे हो, मैं एक जिम बॉय के POV से बताता हूँ। अगर आप जिम जा रहे हो, एक जिम बॉय की नज़र में जो फिटनेस प्यार करता है, जो जिम से प्यार करता है, जो फिटनेस फिजिक बॉडी बनाने से, हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल रहने से प्यार करता है, जो जिम जाता है, उसकी नज़र में अगर कोई फैट बंदा, बॉडी शेम नहीं कर रहा हूँ, कोई फैट बंदा, चबी बंदा, मोटा बंदा जिम में मेहनत कर रहा है, दिख रहा है उसके एफर्ट्स दिख रहे हैं, पसीने बहा रहा है, भाई उस बंदे के लिए इतनी रिस्पेक्ट रहती है ना, तुमको कोई आइडिया नहीं। अगर मेरी नज़र में एक फैट बंदा मेरी जिम में मेहनत कर रहा है टू बी अ बेटर पर्सन, टू बी अ बेटर, टू हैव अ बेटर फिजिक, टू लिव अ हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल, उसकी दिख रही है मेरे को मेहनत, उसके बाजू एक ऑलरेडी फिट बंदा, मतलब नेक्स्ट लेवल फिट बंदा खड़ा रहेगा ना, मेरे लिए रेस्पेक्ट सबसे ज़्यादा उस फैट बंदे के लिए रहेगी, क्योंकि ये हर एक जिम ब्रो का, एक जिम लवर का नज़रिया रहता है। क्योंकि इट टेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ गट्स, इट टेक्स अ लॉट ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस टू स्टेप इनटू द जिम वैसी बॉडी के साथ, टू बी अ बेटर पर्सन, जहाँ पे उनके पीओवी से उनको लगता है कि भाई सामने वाला मेरे बारे में क्या सोच रहा होगा, मैं इतनी ओवरसाइज टी पहन के आया हूँ, स्टिल मेरा बेली फैट दिख रहा है, मेरा ये दिख रहा है, उसकी नज़र से तो उसको ऐसा लग रहा होगा। बट जिम में ब्रो ऐसा कभी मत सोचना। जिम में जितने भी लोग रहते हैं ना भाई, जो प्रॉपर जिम प्यार करते हैं, जिम से फिटनेस से प्यार करते हैं, उसकी नज़र में आपके लिए अलग लेवल रिस्पेक्ट है कि क्योंकि यू स्टेप्ड अप ब्रो, आप कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ आए हो सही बनने के लिए, वही चीज़ सबसे बड़ी बात होती है मेरे नज़रिए में। तो कभी ऐसा मत सोचना जिम में जाते टाइम भी क्या लोग सोचेंगे मेरे फैट को देख के, मेरे इसको देख के। आप जिम के अंदर एंटर कर रहे हो, उसके साथ दैट्स द डब्ल्यू कॉन्फिडेंस। तो कभी कोई जिम लवर भाई आपके बारे में उल्टा सीधा सोचेगा नहीं, कभी कोई आपको जज नहीं करेगा। बाहर की दुनिया जरूर करेगी, यही तो प्रॉब्लम है, बट जिम की दुनिया में आपको कभी कोई नजर नहीं लगाएगा, ना आपके बारे में कोई बुरा सोचेगा, आपकी तारीफ ही करेंगे उल्टा, और उल्टा आप जाके उनसे पूछोगे ना तो आपकी हेल्प भी करेंगे वो। दैट्स व्हाट जिम बॉयज डज। स्टिल देयर इज अ ब्लिंक ऑफ होप प्रेइंग फॉर 2 चिकन, लेट्स सी ब्रो।
The chances
मैं भी तो जॉनी का बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ, बट ऐसा थोड़ी है कि स्नैक्स को हेट दूं। ये कुछ करो जो बंदा रेस्पेक्ट करे, बिहेवियर ऑन टॉप, उसको हेट कैसे। रोहन भाई थैंक यू 100 मीजान, मींस अ लॉट, थैंक्स फॉर द सपोर्ट। इच्छा कल आ रहा है आपसे मिलना, आओ मेरी जान। स्नैक भाई सुशांत है सोल का, अच्छा मेरे को सुशांत, अच्छा वो सुशांत की बात कर रहा हूँ। हर कोई नेगेटिव कमेंट वाले गॉडल से नहीं होता है, चिचा प्लीज ग्रो अप। लव यू, रेस्पेक्ट फ्रॉम ऑल, रेस्पेक्ट फॉर ऑल इज रियल गुडनेस। मैंने कहा बोला कोई गॉडल वाला मेरे को हिट दे रहा है भाई, मैंने तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं ऐसा। थैंक यू 100, लव यू स्नैक्स भाई, लव यू टू मेरी जान। स्टिल देयर इज अ ब्लिंक ऑफ होप, लेट्स सी। सिद्धेश भाई थैंक यू 100, MX थैंक्स 1v4 वाज अ सिनर्जी सानक में विलेजर स्पोर्ट्स क्रिम, आज भी आदे चिचा विच मेड बी योर फैन। स्नैक्स चिचा थैंक यू सो मच सिद्धेश भाई। That's why I wanted non-X to qualify. Their gunpower and 4v4 fight was better. Non-X ने 1v1 fight तो निकाल ली होती तो still fingers crossed for last 5 games. जय भाई ऐसा तो भाई आप बोलोगे कि non-X क्वालिफाई होती, कोई चैट में बोलेगा सोल क्वालिफाई होती, कोई चैट में बोलेगा गॉडल क्वालिफाई होती, कोई बोलता RNTX क्वालिफाई होती तो बेटर रिजल्ट होता। सब लोग यही बोलते ना यार, सब लोग तो यही बोलेंगे ना, बट एट द एंड कोई नहीं हुआ ना। कौन हुआ? आर्यन की टीम हुई क्योंकि वो बेटर है ब्रो, एक्सेप्ट द फैक्ट। दे वॉन ब्रो उन सब टीम्स के अगेंस्ट, दैट्स इट भाई, वो बेटर टीम है भाई। स्टैट्स ही सब कुछ है भाई। अगर चैंपियनशिप में वो चैंपियनशिप हो रहा है, जो #1 आएगा वही सबसे बेस्ट हुआ भाई पूरी लॉबी में। #2 वाला नहीं होगा भाई, चाहे वो 1 पॉइंट से ही क्यों ना हारा हो, फर्क नहीं पड़ता ब्रो। एक चिकन विद 10 kills, लेट्स सी, देखते हैं ब्रो। एंड कैश भाई लव द वे यू डील विद हेट अन्ना, थैंक यू सो मच। राज भाई थैंक यू 40, लव यू मेरी जान। A7 एक ऐसी टीम है जो भी कम बैक कर सकती है, देखते हैं A7 क्या करती है, मेरे को तो डाउटफुल लग रहा है
भाई।
साहब चिल करो, हेटर्स को हम मैच चाचा आयुष भाई को तो फट लव यू चाचा, लूट का मैं वाली रोटेशन कर। अरे वो ठीक है भाई, फाइट में प्रॉब्लम हो रही है ब्रो, शर्म आनी चाहिए चिचा। अरे रे 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 बीस्ट मोड भाई थैंक यू 14 Canadian dollars, means a lot
man। I start the
साहब भाई एक चीज तो फर्क है आपके टाइम और अभी के स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर में। अभी के मैक्सिमम प्लेयर्स किसी भी एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर के सजेशन लेते ही नहीं है, उनके अंदर ये ज्यादा होता है कि ये मेरे को क्या ज्ञान दे रहा। बॉन्ग बॉय प्लीज भाई इसके ऊपर मैं कुछ बोलूंगा नहीं भाई, मैं बोलूंगा तो बहुत लोग टूट जाएंगे, मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा भाई इसके बारे में। बॉन्ग भाई, बॉन्ग बॉय ब्लॉग्स आएंगे तो 200 फुल सपोर्ट करो, हर स्टेज से कुछ सीखना चाहिए। एग्जैक्टली ब्रो टीम नियो अभी थैंक यू 40। मैं कुछ नहीं बोलूंगा क्योंकि आजकल की प्लेयर्स, आजकल की ऑडियंस स्पोर्ट्स की थोड़ी डेंजर है भाई। मैं इधर वहां पे बोल रहा हूँ, बंदे ने लेफ्ट पीक लिया, चैट में बोलते राइट पीक लिया, मैं कुछ एनालिस करके दिखा रहा हूँ, बोलते ज्ञान क्यों दे रहा है, तूने क्या उखाड़ा। मैं कुछ बता रहा हूँ, कुछ बोल रहा हूँ, अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर कर रहा हूँ। भाई इनको नहीं सिखा सकते ब्रो। मैं तो मेरे जो पुराने व्यूअर्स है जो मेरे को देखते आए हैं उनके लिए एनालिसिस कर रहा हूँ, उनके लिए दिखा रहा हूँ कि गाइस देखो ये सब चेंजेस है। क्योंकि नए लोग को अगर तुम करोगे ना भाई, नए लोगों को तुम सिखाओगे ना, उनको घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ता भाई। उनको ऐसा लगता है ना भाई कि उनको क्लियरली ऐसा लगता है ना कि पूरी दुनिया के जितने भी प्लेयर्स हैं ना मेरे इस पे, मैं ही सबसे खतरनाक प्लेयर हूं, मेरे को किसी से कुछ सीखने की जरूरत नहीं है, मेरे सामने कोई भी आ जाए सब मेरे इस पे, वो एटीट्यूड है, समझ रहे हो क्या। चिचा विश यू वेरी थैंकफुल फॉर द एक्सप्लेन द स्टैटिक्स, अवॉइड हेट, कीप स्माइलिंग, फुल जॉय, एंजॉय द मैच, लव यू मेरी जान, लव फ्रॉम चंडीगढ़, थैंक यू सो मच अननोन भाई, थैंक यू 100। हैव टू से बॉयज गिविंग द बेस्ट बट #2 मावी स्टिल रॉन्ग। वो तो भाई द बेस्ट स्टैट्स ना एवर आज तक ग्लोबल में, ऑब्वियसली ही इज द ओजी। हेटर्स को लगता है अगर ये होते TMG की जगह पे तो ट्रॉफी लेके आते, अकेला रोजमेरी इनको क्लच कर देगा। दादा आएगा चैट में, दादा क्या बोल रहे हैं? अरे दादा से याद आया, मैच चालू हो जब तक दादा मेरी तारीफ कर रहे थे, सुनते ना हम यहाँ तक सुने।
We are very proud of you, Snacks.
Thank you so much, दादा, love you मेरी cutie.
Thank you Snacks Army, means a lot यार, 950 thank you so much.
दादा
सबका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। भाई का चैनल बहुत दिन से स्टक था,
दादा
950 हो गया है। अब तुम्हारा भाई देखो 1 मिलियन की तरफ कैसी दौड़ रहा है।
इनको मैं बोला था भाई तुम अभी जोकर आएगा ना, हम तीनों स्ट्रीम करेंगे गाइस, तब तुम देखना 950 का सीधा 1 मिलियन इनका कैसा कराते पुश।
थैंक यू बडी,
दे देंगे एकदम फुल प्रोडक्शन।
1 मिलियन पे तो ऐसा मरफा करा देंगे ना, ऐसा मरफा करा देंगे, आया आया।
सौरभ गांगुली बना देंगे दादा को, माँ का साथ निकाल के
कर तीनों तुम लोग को किसी इंटरनेशनल ट्रिप पे दिखे।
लीक्स दे दी क्या?
950 में मरफा चाहिए पार्थ भाई, 1 मिलियन पे ऐसा मरफा देखा नहीं होगा। बहुत सारा ध्यान रखिए, ठीक।
क्या बात है दादा, लव यू मेरी जान। अरे बंद कर दिए, ले स्ट्रीम बंद करके चले गए।
And that's going to be a fun one. Gatka. So maybe all
I have to say, boys giving their best. Yes.
I don't know. I doubt it, but I will say this, man.
दादा स्ट्रीम बंद करके चले गए।
It's going to be a fun one, and for other rosters like Alpha 7 and the ones.
It is को लगता है अगर ये होते पढ़ लिया। Respect for you, Snacks, for the maturity and respect is shown to everyone. As a
step it up because we only have a limited number of games.
it gives us hope. क्याती भाई thank you तो $5 अरे बाप रे। भाई आप नहीं बोल रहे थे उसका नाम सुशांत था और रॉकेट था नाम के पीछे। चैट लिखने वालों को गॉडल के बच्चे बोल रहा था। सॉरी भाई आपने नहीं बोला। अच्छा अच्छा शिखर भाई कोई सिकंदर भाई कोई सीन नहीं। स्नैक्स भाई मिलके एनालिसिस करें क्या पास मैचेस। प्रियेश गेमिंग भाई मैंने ऑलरेडी कर लिया भाई, थैंक यू तो 40। चलो गाइस आई विश अपना ये लास्ट 4 मैचेस बचे। मैं एक ही चीज विश करूंगा अपनी टीम से, जो टीम आर्यन है अब वो खुले सांड की तरह खेले, डरे बगैर खेले। अभी है ना सिंपल सी चीज है भाई, खोने के लिए कुछ नहीं है, पाने के लिए बहुत कुछ है। वो मेंटालिटी से खेलेंगे भाई, मारेंगे वे लोग, बस वो चाहिए रे पब्लिक, थोड़ा मारम मारी चाहिए रे, है ना। देखने में भी मजा आएगा, अच्छी टीम्स को मारेंगे 4v4 में, गन फाइट्स निकालेंगे, मजा आएगा यार। थोड़ा चाहिए यार चैट, I hope निकले भाई।
Without a doubt. When people contact me for jobs, I'm going to be like, Reflections said, I smell great.
You smell great. They're going to be like, who is Reflections? What are you talking about? Alpha 7 will once again go up to Georgia Pool as they typically do. They'll actually know who's going to be around them. I believe like IG, Ora, who have
but cut off है ना,
been hanging out. R8 might
बहुत
be
low
going
cut off
up
रहेगा यार,
there
70 पॉइंट का ही cut off रहेगा।
Could be fun. R8 a
What
team
is you play
that
esports
is
Valo Mobile
doing
RNTX भाई।
incredibly well today.
Bonish भाई thank you to 100
going to be seeing them
means a
in
lot।
the finals. All eyes. Oh, this is great for Alpha 7.
और आज चैट में बच्चे बहुत आए भाई, वो मैंने किसी को मैडम बोल दिया, गर्लफ्रेंड। टीम AX को इतना हिट, बहुत बच्चे हैं भाई आज चैट में, मजाक से हट के। कोई बोलता है ज्ञान क्यों दे रहा है, बहुत बच्चे हैं, बाप रे बाप।
आयरन भी वही गई है, वाटर सिटी
मालूम ही था, मैं प्रिपेयर था, आज के दिन पे बहुत बच्चे आएंगे।
But this could be the game Alpha 7 has
क्या आज आयरन गेमिंग कमबैक कर पाएगी? लेट्स सी ब्रो ध्रुव भाई, चांसेस बहुत कम है। थैंक यू तो 40 ना के बराबर चांसेस है, बट ये मैच दिखते, ये मैच अगर चिकन आता है तो कुछ होप है, अगर ये मैच चिकन नहीं आया तो कुछ नहीं।
You got Influence Rage, you got E-Arena. All of them seem to be a little bit reluctant to get stuck into a fight.
The player I want to see to play in this lobby is S8ul. I believe he'll do great. रोहित भाई, थैंक यू तो 100। अरे गाड़ी से गिर के नॉक हो गया।
That is what we call a mistake.
चैट, ये गाड़ी से गिर के कैसे नॉक हो गया?
I don't even know how he did that. I guess he must have tumbled. I guess he must have tumbled the vehicle because there's no like rocks around. Right.
रोनित, थैंक यू तो 179।
That's actually impressive.
ब्रो गाड़ी से गिर के नॉक हो गया बे।
You know what would be truly devastating? Needs to happen kind of quickly. I don't know. GamX might be in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, we are going to get a replay. He was already super low, and that tiny little ditch knocked him. Oh, that's so sad.
It is. And Influence Rage is heading potentially straight into him now. They're going to veer off to the left. So good on them. They'll get back up. They'll be a 4-man unit once again, but that could have been bad for sure.
Thanks to production for getting that replay.
Without a doubt.
By the way.
Without a doubt.
Big shout out to those guys. They've been pulling shifts behind the scenes out here. We've been loving every second of working with them, and we'll be glad to see the rest of the week out with them too. Unfortunately, not all of our teams are going to be seeing the rest of the week out with them, and we are on board with the team on the bubble right now in 8th place. Falcons, 50 points as it stands after 8 matches completed.
Yeah, which is tough to see. A world, a grand finals where you don't have Falcons, you don't have Alpha 7. Come on, that is something we surely did not expect. Falcons roster much hyped up coming into this event. They picked up a good one, and now they might not even make it to the final day, so they've got to step it up without question. They're going to be over towards the right outer edge of the next stage.
5 points here,
moving in. Noxious Red Force most likely coming up behind them too. Something to look out for. Influence Rage starts to get dangerously close up to IG, a team that is on the bubble right behind Falcons roster. So we were just mentioning potentially not making it into the final day. Meanwhile, Provision, they're on the hunt, and they're hunting down power.
Ooh, Easy hops back in the vehicle. They aren't going to slow down too much. Instead, they turn around, and the rest of the team comes through. Now, all 4 players from Vision going to try and get into pursuit. A little hop over the terrain, and more shots coming through from the hollow sight. At Mini 14, pumping damage into Easy, but again, he protects himself, he keeps safe and falls back with the rest of power. So staying alive there could be all important, and maybe all important for Vision, because they're in 10th place right now. They're chasing.
Without a doubt, right? Very close to catching up and breaking into top 8. I want this game to get away from them, and from one fight maybe to another. AXTMG off to their right-hand side, firing warning shots. Regnum Karya, though, well within their within top 5. Looking very, very good at the moment. They start to rotate in as well as it starts to get active up towards IG Alpha 7's region. And we do expect that naturally as the zone. A lot of it's actually going to have some water, which always makes things a little bit spicy. E-Arena getting active onto GamX.
Yeah, E-Arena having found that initial knock first. Looks like that could be rezzed up. They're taking more shots out that way. It is mostly just Joker out here. The rest of E-Arena not quite close enough to go for the full fight. Sakura also isolated, so could get a little bit messy here as the res does come through for GamX. They're trying to encircle this one, but they may have bitten off a little bit more than they can chew with the amount of split that they've gone for. I think Sakura's read into that, and this retreat is timely.
Yeah, it was E-Arena firing shots, helping out Sakura, who was up ahead. Now, the danger not gone just yet. He repositions himself, gets away. And I do appreciate from a lot of these rosters today not overcommitting. It's so easy to overcommit to a fight, to really feel the energy and push forward. Teams aren't scared to disengage, and I think that's going to be very valuable going into the final stages. Sometimes disengaging and not fighting the fight is the best course of action, and for E-Arena, they decide to do just that because Sakura, even though he was in a 1v1, he did have help from a distance. Once it became a 2v1, he read the situation correctly and decided to dip out. GamX gonna hold on to the shoreline as much as they possibly can. E-Arena, though, continues to kind of encircle them and tramp them, and I do wonder if GamX is truly going to be able to make their way down the shoreline, or if they're going to have to go south and maybe towards Corey and reposition.
They will be able to survive for just a little bit longer. The question is, how long do you spend doing this, right? Because all this while, teams are getting closer to Everest, to Hospital, to South George. They're getting ahead of the curve in terms of that rotational pace. So chasing down Gamax, I mean, is it really worth it for E-Arena right now? I'm not sure if it's the wisest investment of time. If they get one Elim, okay, they have managed to find that knock. I imagine they're going to turn around now and start to head into the circle. Anything more than this, I think, is a bit of an over-investment. They might just try and prove me wrong.
You know, I think it's just a matter of respect. I mean, Gamex, let's face it, they've been getting pushed. When teams see them, they push into Gamex. They take advantage of the situation. Focus now onto Kinetro. Finale is down, unfortunately. Plur has to be the gatekeeper now to try and protect his position. But Scarface is coming up from the backhand side. Ken's tried to do exactly that too, but he gets taken down. Fireflux with the recovery should get the pickup, but Scarface, I believe, is going to be the linchpin if I'm not mistaken.
Could be important here. Madcap has to go in for the res over towards Ketch, but the off angle. Ozzy-san clocks him again, and that's going to force another player from Fireflux to have to respond to this. Stage 1 reses are possible, but Ozzy-san has been so important for Kinotrope in making this one work. By the way, this Gamax E-Arena fight could crash into this engagement.
It could.
Remember, they are still going over towards the south side of Quarry. It's getting a little bit nuts. As well as Yangon Galacticos, who are on the other side of the bridge, they're gearing up to try and make a crossing themselves.
Looks like Fireflux still trying to get the reses as they possibly can. Solus has made his way over to start at least one pickup. Ozzy-san can't get the read, can't get the vision to clean up the remaining members of Fireflux, so they do recover just a little bit. Remember, this fight so impactful for Kinotrope to work their way up, and they now have to do it as a duo, which is never easy. Ozzy-san, potential disengagement, or at least for sure a reposition. Now the question is, will Fireflux fire on his position? Yes, they will. Ozzy-san, just a matter of health. Fireflux get the finish, and now they're down to 1.
Oh, looking for Ozzy-san taking care of that off angle. Really good news for them. Fireflux trying to piece themselves back together here. Looks like they may be able to do just that, but what can Yangon Galacticos do about it? A nade for Madcap launched on over. That should be good. No, he's caught running away, and instead it's the bullets to finish him off. Now, Fireflux, can they disengage? Can they get back to this one? Ketch needs to get a heal off. You imagine that he's got the time to do so, but can Yangon Galacticos push in? No, they're going east.
Yeah.
They're fully disengaged from this. By the way, E-Arena are now fighting in Primos with Gamax on the southwest side.
This is nuts, isn't it? And Gamax just down to a solo. Mind you, the solo left was the one who got the pickup on the downed player. And you think about how Gamax started this with the downed player out of nowhere, hitting the divot with just a sliver of health. And E-Arena so punishing, looking to put Gamax into the grave very early on. The overcommitment, but I mean, for E-Arena, very healthy points, 67. They put themselves up within top 3. Yes, it is an overcommitment, but I think for them, they're fine with this. No worries whatsoever.
I mean, they can play small ball PUBG Mobile, right? They can go for these small point games. You get a team wipe that is 4 points added to your tally, and at this stage, that's enough to see you completely safe. They have now hit that 70-point threshold that we've been talking about so much in terms of where we expect that 8th place to end up. So getting up and over this early on is great news. We see a replay of the engagements, of the pickups that they were able to find. Tiny K rolling up, get that reload in. Little punch out.
No.
Leaves him punch drunk, and Arthur's down for the count.
Well, with that clip, we can see it's a little bit personal. If not, they're having fun, but I know Gamex isn't. Gamex is definitely not. Solo still last up. I'm actually shocked. I'm floored that E-Arena is staying around this solo. Meanwhile, you do have a couple of other engagements taking place. Well, naturally for E-Arena, they finally get the finish. They go to the box, and they're all shooting the body. Why is this so personal? What storyline did we miss?
I don't know, man. Go off, I guess.
There's no smiles either. Like, oh, there we go. Okay, little smile. I was like, wow, they are genuinely upset.
You know what is important about what E-Arena have done here? Sure, they make a decision that we can call into question, but the more important thing is that they were a West Coast team. There is currently a team on the West Coast of the next circle that would have been in a fight with E-Arena, potentially Gamax as well, that is very important. Of course, I'm talking about none other than Alpha 7. They sit on the west edge of this circle. That would have been a contested spot had it not been for E-Arena going for a position like this. Well, if Alpha 7 can get a big game here, I'm placing that blame squarely at the feet of E-Arena.
That's fair. That's a great call out. And for Alpha 7, maybe singing the praises of E-Arena being totally over-aggressive on the Gamax side. Zone very small now. Plenty of teams still on the outskirts. Horta has a bit of a split, a 2-2 split at the moment. You've got R8 who's also surrounding them. AXTMG just on the outskirts. Power have a great spot, however, in the middle. And Power already having a wonderful day, obviously coming off of at least a good finish in that game number 2. And I believe here they are going to be the team to watch out for who might be able to make a deep run, which would be wonderful for them. They're just a little bit below that threshold, still in a very healthy spot for Power. Here we go.
Look at that. You got the shot there live from Riyadh. That is Al Haji's father there,
okay.
Watching live from in the venue. He's locked in right now, and Power being in an important position, rightly so. He has the support of his family behind him, and hopefully the Power family can play off one another beautifully.
And I saw him in the backlines too, maybe with some comms. Hey, we need to do this, pick it up, right? He was being active during the team huddle in between games. So shout out to the dads. We love family support systems when it comes to esports. It's so impactful, and I tell you what, you can truly make a big impact in your kid's life, in your competitor's life, in your family's life by giving them support in esports, and that's a beautiful thing, especially he's able to get all the way out here to Riyadh to support his son.
That was my dad's birthday yesterday as well. So,
yeah,
you know, we're all about celebrating dads.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
Happy birthday to my dad for yesterday. Probably should have done that yesterday.
Actually,
but
yeah.
You know what?
But you know what? You got it in now.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Kalaris for a few days ago.
Yes, yes.
Coming up probably.
Right.
All of that.
That's right.
Well, he's not my dad. Kalaris is not my father.
Thank you for clarifying.
Just to call that one out.
There you go, Claire. If you didn't know, Claris, you're not John's father.
I know what he's like.
Out of the bag.
He'll yeah. Anyway.
You're wild guy. I love it though. E-Arena opposite of Fireflux and a bit of a headbutt potential. I look at Catch right next to Mormon. They're side by side as they go in, and R8's not too far away either, although I do foresee them going a little bit further in. But yeah, fights off. Macap's gonna be the first one down. 30K to follow. Mormon shots out. Catch melting E-Arena, but only for a little bit. Sakura, a little matter of health as he pushes up. Fireflux still with the advantage, you'd have to assume, with the solo. And that's going to be, now R8's into the mix, so all three teams do in fact end up colliding.
Oh, E-Arena on the rematch with Fireflux from the end of the last match get interrupted, but R8 are turned away at the door almost immediately. They try and push in, and immediately the shots ring out. Mormon rolls on forwards in the threatening presence of this hovercraft. Tries to take another player down, bipping the horn, giving it large. Prestige now to the backlines. ID with the backup, but two players now are stepped up to fight the Prestige though, with a spray down onto one, is traded, and the hop out wide. Prestige now the last player alive for R8, and the hovercraft still moving around, slow and threatening. The pace is there, and they sweep them aside. Fireflux are out of there. E-Arena stay alive with 8 elims, and the rematch continues.
And even though they only have a duo, they have the hovercraft, which could be critical later on. Now the question is, does another team come into the fold? Will we see Adrian with Intense Game now start the challenge onto E-Arena up ahead? Again, a very talented roster, but also can get aggressive when they want to, and there is value in pushing E-Arena in this moment. Intense Game desperately need points. They need to elevate themselves up towards top 8. It's getting serious for them. Getting aggressive might be the way, but for Influence Rage, Vision now want to fight themselves.
Vision have really started to suffer in this engagement. Influence Rage holding down Gatka and doing pretty well, but they have got Little Boy down on the floor here and are likely to get that one flushed away. Nothing really to do there, and in come Power. They might look to third party this. There's not too much that anyone can do about it. Playing this southeast building is going to play very well for them. You've got to imagine that the supplies are running low across the way. You can see the underarms coming on through. Al Haji cooking it, trying to chef it up perfectly. Pops it in through the doorway. Don't think that's going to connect, but he does get the bounce around the corner. Unfortunately, doesn't quite find the shot.
Now, there's a little bit of time right now between these two rosters to kind of take their time. However, I believe Horta is going to come crashing in for the third party and the cleanup. That's something they need to desperately be aware of. Narvalo is also scanning the areas, but my concern is Horta coming in to this Influence Rage. Power engagement. Al Haji down, unfortunately. Diego firing blind. He doesn't know he's in front, but he just wants to get any shot he possibly can, and he will eventually fall. Law through the window. But he easy also pushing up. Easy. Nade's being put. It's going to be thrown. That's going to be a grenade. And yeah, mentioned Hora also starting to crash in just as Power starts to get control.
Law dropping the nade at his feet, trying to stop people from walking in through the doorframe uncontested. Will give himself a little bit of time here. Finds Sleepy and connects for the shots. Easy's there and Sky goes down. Hora's crash is going abysmally wrong now as Alpha 7 are lighting them up from across the way as well. There is no angle that's safe, but they connect onto Vidan first.
And if Alpha 7 somehow comes out of this fight, even from a distance, with the victory, this could be huge for them because they control a significant portion of the map. Narvalo has been hanging out towards the northern side of this entire engagement, and therefore Falcons potentially making a play call for Redux to come over and also fire down on Power, on Aura, on Influence Rage, who's currently embroiled in a desperate fight for Power.
But Power are still alive as 4. They are all up and live and kicking. They've got a lot of pressure into this area. You can't imagine that the Falcons are going to be able to do too much against them. On the inside, it is only small teams to try and go for this. A long nade comes through from No Fear, though, over towards Easy, and that is a little bit split from the rest of Power. Getting this cross successfully could be dangerous. The Falcons regroup in the meantime. You can see Narvalo and Redox both moving back over to the north side of those chopsticks. They're going to have to try and fight off against Rectum Kaya now.
Power. I feel like I've gotten 2 or 3 lives in this fight. They've had so many downed players. They've managed to recover, and they stay a 4-man unit. If they can get Easy back up, which I have no doubt they're going to be able to do so because Law just doesn't have the line of sight needed in order to get the cleanup on the down player. Actually, Law takes a little bit more damage himself off from Alpha 7, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken. Now, all these rosters now have to shift into the next zone, so this fight can still take its time, but eventually, Blue, it's going to start hurting.
This is the benefit that Power have for having crashed onto the east side of this compound, right? It's closer to the center of the circle. You have those routes away that are going to be a little bit less contested. The difficulty is that there's not really a good space to go towards. At the moment, the compound that sits just to the west of Gatka, of the Chopsticks, is going to be unoccupied. The question is, do they know that? And the second question that you need to follow that up with is, do they have the vehicles and the utility to make that crossing successfully without getting shut down?
Alhaji Easy now start to push forward. They're closing the vice grip onto Law. This nade could be big. He throws it out. Law can't reposition at the moment. Alhaji, another nade, not wanting to overcommit. They don't want to get up close and personal in the CQC fight. Law has finally fallen. Now you can start to push up. Focus on Jiggle. Focus on No Fear from Hora. Influence Ranger now out of there. You know there's only one more team you have to deal with.
2 players from Hora are there, and Alpha 7 start to make their approach. A 2-2 split as Alpha 7 start to ferry players across the open ground in the vehicle there. They leave Rivo at the forward position. Power crossing the open ground now against Hora. No knock sent towards Power, and Jiggle gets taken down to half HP. Alhaji's now up to the wall with Easy following up nicely. They're up into the top floor as well. They're starting to overwhelm Hora here, and there really isn't any resistance that's finding them. A really disciplined push there, and shots being missed by Hora allows them across the open yard, and they will control Gatka, sweep through it. 5 elims found, and they're on for more, but the rotation needs to happen fast.
And just to really say how impressive that was, they had so many down players, and they take 2 teams out while keeping 4 up, but now the struggles really start to begin. Alpha 7 take advantage. They knew this fight was going down the entire time, and they are now punishing Power's rotation, but Alpha 7 isn't out of the woodworks just yet. IG might be sneaking up behind him as well.
Can they ruin it for their countrymen? Intense game. Nope, they've been spotted. Nongshim Red Force going to clock silence out in the open there. Rafa forward behind the smoke, and Alpha 7 are going to lose one as well. That is Power extracting a little bit of revenge onto Alpha 7. They have managed to get more than 1 point, so maybe they could turn things around here. Mafioso still is resible, and with 2 players from Intense Game down, that is that northern side assuaged, but they still need to get closer to this next zone.
7, can they recover? They've lost their down player, which honestly is pretty good. I think they would have committed to most likely trying to get Mafioso up, which would have overexposed themselves to more shots, and we could have witnessed a collapse. I'd rather them go at this as a 3-man unit than a 4-man, but still overexposed out in the open, forced to try and challenge Power. That nade will split the difference between the 2, give a little bit of damage to Easy, but not much. Power can still desperately hurt Alpha 7 in this moment.
Vidan found by that nade. Career finally connects with it. Revo steps forward for some information, but there's an answer. Easy again with that spray down, but more nades invested, and Alpha 7 do win the fight here. With 3 players alive, they're playing on the northwestern side. They'll have to go further, but there is a compound that sits ahead of them. Those buildings they can survive in. In the meantime, Yangon Galacticos in a really important position, playing in the neck of those 2 chopsticks, with Nongshim just over that ridgeline in the main compound further south.
And by the way, just to put a cap on it, Nongshim Red Force is truly the reason why Alpha 7 is still able to play this game. If it wasn't for them applying pressure onto IG, who was coming up onto the backside of Alpha 7 would have been mowed down.
I'm looking at the Falcons in that eastern chopstick. I'm looking at Regnum Kaya in that western chopstick. Both of them would love for Yangon Galacticos to get a little bit of pressure sent their way, but at the moment, there's no crashes really to be found. You can see Alpha 7, they're worried about this compound, that drop of the smoke that's covering off the windows for the northern building, and they're going to try and move on up. They will find it unoccupied right now. They're waiting for those spray downs to come, but they're not going to happen, not from that direction anyway.
I think they'll find out now, yeah. It's going to be unoccupied. I don't mind them taking a leisurely pace to the compounds, throwing smoke, keeping your head on a swivel. You don't want to get caught by surprise. Let's face it, Alpha 7 has been non-stop caught by surprise, taken down one by one. So you can tell all those previous experiences weighing heavily in the back of their mind. AXTMG starts to move in. Ralph from Falcons wants to get these shots connected if he possibly can. You don't want AXTMG to be where they currently are. Falcons are looking to punish them.
Koa will be resible there. Navalo holding it down as well towards Yangon Galacticos. AXTMG not taking more casualties is a bit of a miracle, really, on this crossing, on this swing out to the northern side. They will be able to get these reses done as they were able to find that shot over towards Koa, which is really good news. Intense game do fall as well, and now Alpha 7 are up to 5 elims. Remember, this is all the Arena's fault. Their Alpha 7 are alive.
Well, Arena as well as, like I said, Nongshim Red Force helping them out just a little bit. So you got 2 teams who unintentionally ended up helping Alpha 7 in their desperation attempt to make it to the grand finals. YG up ahead. Falcons starting to move up. Regnum Karya still within the chopsticks, as you mentioned, trying to continue this battle. They've been having to try and fight one fight up top, fight the fight down below. YG, though, also has to worry about Nongshim Red Force, who's going to be just behind them, and Say Cloud has managed to make his way up. But Falcons, is it realistic that they can even leave this spot? Because as soon as they apex the top of this ravine, they're getting mowed down.
It's difficult, right? You need to be sure that you have a path forwards. Getting access to the buildings that Yangon Galacticos play in would be beautiful. AXTMG going down is actually a massive bonus for them as well, because it means that now they only have to worry about their western flank. They will no longer be overexposed when they go for these peaks, and they have a little bit more leeway. The circle goes away from the chopsticks, so this fight now will have to take place. But the same is true on the other spur of the chopsticks. With Regnum Kaya needing to push in from that northern side, they have to make a move, and Yangon Galacticos don't want to be anywhere near this.
Yangon Galacticos shooting at Nongshim Red Force up ahead. Regnum Karya are also moving in, potentially to crash into Yangon Galacticos. Falcons is going to take advantage of this, and I think it's about to culminate into a massive square-off between 3 rosters. Yangon Galacticos will get an early down. Nongshim Red Force has started to attack, and Falcons are also getting active in the attack.
Regnum Kaya also chiming in there from the opposite angle, and they catch Yangon Galacticos going for a really strange retreat there, I have to say. They didn't really have the cover to go for it, not yet, and they do manage to stay alive as 3, sure, so maybe they're just playing for placements, but at their current standing on the table, they are in 8th place. They don't want to let these games get away from them when they have a dead central position. A nice spray down from Silas connects through the smoke. That should be resible. They have got the cover to do so, but that means Regnum Kaya can move into the main basin at the base of the chopsticks.
Yo, I love the aggression from Silas. Nade cooked, but they get away just in the nick of time. Silas has to make a decision. Push up, back up with my team. What's my play? It looks like he's fully committed. He's and that's going to be 1 down. He clears the angle to the left. Ralph continues to pre-fire, and he's going to punish Silas, who made a great attempt. But Regnum Karya is not done. They continue to push up. Team Falcons need to be ready.
2 players down now to a nade on the off angle from Yangon Galacticos, and more are pouring in over the top. A huge punishment over towards Regnum Kaya, and they are obliterated in the basin there. Wild crawling back to the rest of his team, and by that I mean just Loxy, who remains standing running for Regnum Kaya, trying to keep things going. Novalo can be rezzed here, and the Falcons could be playing on with 4. Yangon Galacticos, they pull back, but they draw them in to a death spiral.
It's a question of what Loxy can do. I like the aggression. I think Regnum Karya Falcons, they were opposite of each other a little bit too long. They said enough is enough. With that down, let's capitalize on it, but it was just a little bit too slow. Falcons were able to recover, but Loxy, the solo from Regnum Karya, can still hurt Falcons tremendously. Let's not forget, Falcons, they are that bubble team. They are right there in 8th place. Their spot in the finals is not guaranteed. There are so many teams nipping on their heels, trying to pass them, trying to knock the home team out, and it's still very doable. So Falcons, this win, a higher placing is critical.
One nade over the top, no knocks. Another, the last in the back pocket for Smile. He's going to invest it here. Ralph is healing, but will it be quick enough? Not quite there. He does find the knock. Yangon Galacticos unlikely to push out to flush it out though here. They will allow this res to come through. Actually, more nades being passed on over. Smile wants to put this one to bed, but Redox is going for the res. The question is, where does he put it? Could maybe take out Loxy with it instead.
Yangon Galacticos, they don't want to push out there. You've got the unknown Loxy, who you don't know where he's currently at. You know he's in this vicinity. You've also got Falcons ready for you, but for Loxy, trying to do what Silas could not do. Push up and take down the roster with the surprise attack. The nade is cooking. Falcons are pushing. They know where Loxy's at. Shotgun out, but no effect. Regnum Karya are out, and it will be Falcons continuing to push on.
They push out at the end of the chopstick here, and Yangon Galacticos, I think they may be out of nades now. Not really too many more to play with. The nade bobbles in, but Smile's not up at the windowsill. Falcons have to push up, and they have to push now. Alpha 7 getting cut out by the blue zone. Koa first up into the meat grinder, and Yangon Galacticos hold their nerve. They draw back and back and back, and every single step they take backwards, they find a player running towards them. They're able to farm up those points and push in towards those top 8. But in the meantime, it's Nongshim Red Force, who have been chilling for the longest time out on the south side.
Top 2, Nongshim Red Force, a big win would put them comfortably within the top, or potentially edging closer to top 3. But anyways, with the point standings, most likely going to the finals, this is imperative, an imperative victory they take for Yangon Galacticos, also a team that is very close to the bubble, just 1 point ahead of Team Falcons. A win here would also separate them from the other teams nipping at their heels, but they've got the blue zone. They've got to push up, and Nongshim Red Force are ready to mow them down.
Romeo turns the corner, hits the deck, stays safe from Doc C for just a moment longer. The smokes have to come through as Nongshim Red Force are closer to the center of the circle. This pace needs to be coming out from Yangon Galacticos, and STREAMCHAMP's going to breach out into the open. This is bold and very, very dangerous coming through. Needs to stay safe, falls back into the smoke here, and looks to unleash a little bit more, step him a little bit closer to this Smile, playing on the south side of the building, and these shots aren't connecting for Yangon Galacticos. They still have nades and mollies and everything to play with.
Yangon Galacticos very exposed out in the open at the moment. They continue to push up through the smokes. The nades are going to hurt. STREAMCHAMP is going to be down. That's going to put Yangon Galacticos with just 2 members. Smile also gone. Is this a victory for Nongshim Red Force to add up to the total where they currently stand? Yes, it will be. Nongshim Red Force will take the victory. They dominate in fashion, and that is so critical because it puts them well within the top 5 and well on their way to grand finals.
There are over 70 points now for 4 of our teams: Fireflux, E-Arena, Power Esports, Aura Esports as well. They are on 71 or higher points. That puts them safe over that threshold. As long as they can keep this pace, they may have done enough already, but it's teams like Nongshim Red Force who now are at 61 points after that match, where they will feel a lot safer. As the camera pans over Alpha 7, they didn't do enough that match to put themselves back in the conversation. Sure, it wasn't a 1-point game, but they are still down towards the bottom half, barely solidly, and they still have such a long way to go. They need to keep themselves together. You can see he's even missing the camera shots sometimes. Revo has been good with it, but will they be good enough? That is the question. Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to get on with the rest of the day. To do that, we're going to head to a break. We'll be back with our final Erangel of the survival stages. Make sure that you stay tuned.
भाई नेक्स्ट
किए, बट वो 3 मैचेस जो बचे हुए, उन 3 मैचेस में एक स्टेटमेंट दे दोगे ना, ऑल द फैंस विल बी सुपर हैप्पी। 3 मैचेस में एक योलो गेम प्ले देखने मिल जाए तो ऑल द फैंस विल बी सुपर हैप्पी। 0.2 सेकंड से जीता निहाल, क्रेजी ब्रो, क्रेजी ब्रो। अगर 0.2 सेकंड से जीता तो क्रेजी भाई। चैट कैन वी हिट 100 के लाइक्स? जितने भी लोग देख रहे एक साथ सारे के सारे, पहले तो 80,000 तो क्रॉस कर दो। YOLO means you only live once. YOLO का फुल फॉर्म you only live once। तो वैसा वाला कि भाई तुम्हारे esports करियर के आखिरी के 3 मैचेस है तो उस तरीके से खेलो, ऐसा बोल। YOLO मतलब वो। अगर आज 2.1 मिलियन हो गए तो बहुत मजा आ रहा है। 0.02 सेकेंड्स, ओ माय गॉड भाई, 0.02 सेकेंड्स इज क्रेजी भाई। मतलब ऑल इन जाओ भाई, मतलब तुम्हारे पास जो है सब लेके ऑल इन जाओ, ऑल इन, समझ रहे हो? जो है सब दिखा दो, डरे बगैर खेलो वहां क्या। .02, अरे बाप रे बाप, 002, अरे माँ कसम क्रेजी भाई। टू गुड यार, टू गुड यार, टू गुड। जेन्युइनली टू गुड रहे। 30 बॉम्बर नीडेड। अरे 30 बॉम्बर कुछ नहीं भाई, बस अग्रेसिव खेले रहे, घुस घुस के मारे भाई, योलो खेले, जोन नहीं मिल रहा, माँ की आंख, जोन में जो टीम है ना उस पे चढ़ के मारो उनको, घुस जाओ उनके ऊपर, मजा आ जाए भाई। लव फ्रॉम बांग्लादेश चाहता है कि सो मच ब्रो। मैं तो बोल रहा A7 पे ही घुस जाओ, A7 के भी चकले लगे बड़े भाई। सोचो चैंपियन टीम अगर क्वालिफाई नहीं करी तो।
And Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period July 25th.
बहुत ओपन में चले गए अपने बंदे।
August 26th, 2025.
अरे
What are
यार,
you waiting for? Get the new guild set now.
अब क्या ही बोले अपने बंदों।
डेस्ट्रो और रॉबिन ने फेयरवेल मिल गया। डेस्ट्रो की तो इतनी अच्छी टीम थी, फेयरवेल क्यों मिलेगा? After seeing these matches, don't you want to play a comp and represent India again? भाई मतलब यहाँ तक है, यहाँ तक। जब भी ऐसा कोई इवेंट देखता हूँ ना, it's not only about BGMI, trust me। जब मैं रिसेंटली मैं बैंकॉक गया था to watch the Valo VCT finals, वो देखने के टाइम पे भी मेरे को ऐसा हुआ ब्रो, एक बार वापस esports में आना। अभी esports वर्ल्ड कप के लिए रियाद गया था, तब भी Valo देख रहा था and I was watching Apex 2। यहाँ तक था कि ब्रो I have to step in, मेरे को वापस आना है। ये मैचेस देखने आने ऐसा लग रहा है साला खेलूंगा मारूंगा सबको बेंच। मतलब अभी भी बहुत गेम है भाई मेरे अंदर, मतलब बहुत गेम बचा है अभी भी अंदर, बट थोड़ी रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज ऐसी है सर पे, जब तक वो क्लियर नहीं होगी ना चैट तब तक मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता। तो ऐसा सीन है, थोड़ी रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज है तुम्हारे भाई पे, क्योंकि तुम्हारा भाई घर का अकेला लड़का है और जो चीज़ें अपन ने लाइफ में अचीव की है ना, उसकी थोड़ी रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बची है मेरे पे, वो क्लियर करनी है। घर का लोन है वो भरना है, मेरी सिस्टर की शादी भी करनी है मेरे को, बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं यार। तो पहले लाइफ में थोड़ी चीज़ें हो जाए उसके बाद देखते आ रहा हूँ। बट वालो मोबाइल तो खेलूंगा ही खेलूंगा, बट एक बार BGMI का एक इवेंट खेलूंगा मैं पक्का। आने वाले टाइम में कभी ना कभी एक BGMI का इवेंट खेलूंगा मैं, उसमें अपना 100% दूंगा भाई। अच्छी टीम मिली तो ही खेलूंगा, वरना नहीं खेलूंगा। 100% देके खेलूंगा। अभी थोड़ी रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज है चैट, वो क्लियर करनी है भाई, समझ रहे हो? जब तक क्लियर नहीं होगी तब तक आई कांट चेंज माय प्रोफेशन।
Yangon could have had 100 smokes.
6 पॉइंट निकले भाई।
Non-Shabred Force had 6 as well as all that util 7. It was going to be very
6 पॉइंट निकले।
make any transition.
Yeah, for Non-Shim, I mean they had nades, and for Yangon too, they've been fighting.
नेक्स्ट टाइम नजर वाला मत करो, सही में नजर लग जाए, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है रे, वहम है भाई। कैंपिंग करके BMPS जीतेगी तो ये होगा ना, देखो BMPS जैसा इवेंट जीती तुम्हारी फेवरेट टीम के सामने, तुम्हारी फेवरेट टीम भी कैंप करके खेलती तो आज वो भी खेलती। बट वो कैंप नहीं किए, वो नहीं खेल पाए। इन्होंने कैंप किया तुम्हारे हिसाब से तो ये लोग पहुंच गए। आप भी कैंप करके खेलना चालू करो, आप भी पहुंच जाओ। एक शुड प्ले अ फुल डोमिनेटिंग गेम गोइंग ऑन। वही तो बोल रहा हूँ, ऑल इन ब्रो, दे हैव टू प्ले येलो। आई थिंक एनएस पे पुश कर देना चाहिए था भाई। येलो खेलो यार, येलो खेलो।
The chopsticks and how this all does go down.
YOLO खेलो यार।
Speaking Neptura, this is
तू मत बोला कर AX का चिकन। अरे मेरे बोलने से कुछ नहीं होता भाई। अबे कब दिमाग से निकालोगे कि बोलने से कुछ होता है? ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता। जीजी हो गया? यस, जीजी तो हो गया।
Did opt for the chopsticks. It was an interesting rotation actually coming in from Falcons. I want to talk a little bit about that.
मुश्किल है पर मुमकिन है। ना 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 देखो, अभी तो होप मत रखो, अभी तो मत रखो। अभी यही होप रखो कि वो लोग है ना थोड़ा योलो गेम प्ले दिखाए, कि इनके करियर के आखिरी के 3 मैचेस है ये उस तरीके से खेले कि भाई एक छाप छोड़ के जानी है, खतरनाक खेलना है, घुस के मारना है, वैसा होना चाहिए। स्नैक्स भाई आपकी शादी कब होगी? पहले मैं मेरी सिस्टर की शादी करवा दूं। मेरी शादी को बहुत टाइम है। मेरी शादी को 24 साल का होना, 4 साल है, 4 साल है रे बाबू।
Me, I was like, well, it's a bit dicey.
I kind of disagree with that because at that point you had Yangon Galacticos just holding down chopsticks, and then on top of that you had Regnum Karya and Falcons just trying to find a way. I was actually impressed by the way Falcons was playing that. I really enjoyed that way that they were able to push it, and it's something that I was talking with Max backstage as well during that match, is the way that they were pushing up, using that utility to their advantage, and in regards to just.
But अब भी बोल रहा हूँ चैट, जितने भी लोग मेरे सपोर्टर्स हैं, जितने भी लोग पसंद करते हैं मेरे को, एक चीज बोलूंगा, बाकी जो नहीं सुनते तो सुनेंगे ही नहीं। तुम लोग कभी भी इस टीम को हेट नहीं करना, इररेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द रिजल्ट पता है नहीं हो रहे क्वालिफाई, एक्सेप्ट द फैक्ट, बट नेवर एवर हेट दिस टीम। ये लोग 0 हेट डिजर्व करते हैं, इनकी कोई गलती नहीं है भाई, जो भी किए अपना बेस्ट दे के आए। ऑल दे डिजर्व इज अप्रिसिएशन, नाइस ट्राई। इंडियन लॉबी में जब भी खेलेंगे इनको प्यार देना, इनको सपोर्ट करना। नेवर एवर डिसरेस्पेक्ट एनी ऑफ दोज प्लेयर्स। अपने हक से, अपनी मेहनत से वो लोग वहां पे पहुंचे, उनको जो भी परफॉर्मेंस आया उन्होंने अपना बेस्ट दिया, बट हेट कभी नहीं करोगे चाहे। दे डिजर्व ऑल द लव, द सपोर्ट, जो भी उनको मिला है ये 4 या 5 दिनों में, 4 दिनों में। They won against the best teams in India. That's why they are there. तो respect them. सबको बुरा लग रहा है, I know. मेरे को भी बुरा लग रहा है that we didn't qualify for the grand finals. But respect करो टीम को. Respect them. Don't disrespect them. Never hate them. अगर आपकी कोई फेवरेट टीम है, आप उसको प्यार दो, बट किसी और टीम को डिसरेस्पेक्ट मत करो. As simple as that. I'm proud of the boys. You should also be proud of your team. They are the best team in India right now. Next official आएगा, जो भी इवेंट आएगा, उसमें जो जीतेगा वो बेस्ट टीम रहेगी इंडिया की. As simple as that. अभी के लिए यही टीम सबसे बेस्ट है. Accept the fact. Simple.
Of course, here they're going to need a little bit more.
I still used to watch your DP spray videos when you uploaded 3-4 years ago to get motivated and to improve my skills. Thank you so much, Dinesh. Thank you for the 100, bro. Means a lot. Love you, Snaga. Love you too, Ayush bhai. Thank you so much.
How they were even able to get there. Sure. They were trying to just rotate into the main island through that western bridge and fire for.
भाई मेरे को तो A7 भी क्वालिफाई करते हुए नहीं दिख रही.
And just going on a full wrap. One thing that I really enjoyed about this team of how they were able to take control.
भाई मेरे को तो A7 भी क्वालिफाई होते हुए नहीं दिख रही.
Romeo was doing some amazing scouting. He was making sure he got in the right spot too.
Criticism नहीं रहेगा तो improvement नहीं आएगा. I completely agree with your fact.
बना नहीं.
क्रिटिसिज्म एक लिमिट में होती है ब्रो. लड़के 3 साल बाद
जाना पड़ेगा.
ये लड़के छोड़ो भाई, इंडिया की टीम 3 साल बाद खेलने गई है, डिफरेंस क्लियरली दिख रहा है.
चलो भाई.
सेकंड चीज, ये लड़के भाई अब भी ऑफिशियल जीते हैं भाई. दे आर न्यू इनटू द सीन, दे आर गेनिंग एक्सपीरियंस ब्रो. उनको थोड़े टूर्नामेंट्स खेलने दो, थोड़े लैंड टूर्नामेंट्स खेलने दो, थोड़े ऑफिशियल्स खेलने दो,
या फिर कल
एक्सपीरियंस गेन होगा तो बेटर टीम बनेगी. टाइम दो उनको भाई. अभी जीते हैं यार. फ्रॉम नोवेयर टू समवेयर दे केम, आके जीते हैं एंड सीधा इंटरनेशनल स्टेज पे जा रहे हैं.